You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you. Miller and Moulton, a Hump Day edition. Thanks so much for being with us on this April 20th.
420, baby. Woohoo! Let's get this sucker going.
Did you have to include a baby in that? I mean, that
it just flowed, David. It just flowed.
420, baby.
I probably should have gone, dude. 420, dude.
Where's Raj? Get Raj from across the hall.
Raj might have taken the day off.
This
might be a high holiday for Raj, literally.
That's the voice that we should have coming in and out of all the breaks today. Hey, dude. What's going on, man?
Let's listen to some fish.
All damn day. Hey, man, have you heard the Dead Channel? It's something. Miller and Moulton on this Wednesday. We are 8 days and nights away from the NFL draft. A reminder, we will be broadcasting, continuously. At least 4 hours, could be up to 5.
We had an offer yesterday.
We did. I'm unaware.
You were on the text chain when someone said I got a Jets fan to my left or a Bills fan to my left, a Giants fan to my right. He seemed to like the $57 offer that you threw out there.
$53.74.
Yeah.
So he can eat food and drink. So that's where we're at.
Well,
that's the minimum bid right now.
That's your minimum. Again, you're selling us way short. I have said, because for whatever reason, no one wants us to be at their place of business for the draft.
Well, if you were them, would you want us?
Yes, because we will bring people. 1. 2, I've gone so low is that I don't care if it's at a place of business. I'll go to someone's house.
Well, that was my favorite part of yesterday, was when you said, you know what? We'll come to your backyard.
I'm in.
Which I'm all for, but we need to remind everybody, if you invite us to your backyard, this sucker goes till 11:30, possibly midnight. We're broadcasting, which means we're not quiet.
No.
Which is fun from 7 to 10. But then when everybody wants to, shut it down and go to bed and all that, and the wife and the kids, and, no, we're still making noise. And we've been drinking the whole time. I mean, that's the other thing.
We're going to need an Uber if we're on location.
Right.
That is for certain. Or we can just call Felipe at about midnight and have him come pick us up.
Well, goodness knows he's out of it at 6 a.m. most mornings. I mean, you all should have been here behind the scenes this morning. Miller and Moulton arrived sometime between 5:30 and 5:40, and Felipe is ready to go. He's shooting imaginary jumpers in his studio in the hallway, and he is dressed like a combination of Jimmy Butler's met Dwayne Wade. Honestly, he's got elbow pads. He's got knee braces. He looks like the guy who shows up for the pickup game and everybody goes, are you serious?
You know who he is, and it's not basketball, but we have a pretty big golf audience. The commercial, and I think Fowler's in it, where the guy shows up and says, hey, I'm a one-some, can I jump in front of you? And takes 45 seconds. The whole commercial is this guy stretching and getting ready to line up, and Fowler kind of makes a comment, come on already. That's who this guy is. He shows up at the pickup game with that outfit and probably is, there's 10 guys there ready to run. And he says, wait a minute, I got to stretch first.
Right. And everybody's looking at him going, well, look at you. You thought you were ready an hour ago.
I just have to remind you guys, Jimmy Butler is out here.
He's working. Not over there.
He's working.
Felipe has a headband on, ladies and gentlemen. He has a headband.
Headband Jimmy.
Is he 9? All right. The third grader who just decided, he's going to impersonate his favorite player. And that's cute. All right. That's our producer, by the way. That's Mark. He has a lot of responsibility with this show.
A ton.
And our
and
website.
We're trying
and the
desperately to give him more.
Right.
We're trying desperately to get him up to speed of a lot of things that people normally who've had this job get. He's young. We get it. He is a ball of clay, and we are trying to mold him into a super producer. and he is trying to mold himself into a pickup basketball player.
Correct. Right. Today, that's all he wants to do. He's got 2 weeks left in his college career. He's apparently completely mailing it in today. And he's also mailing it in on Miller and Moulton because at 5:56, he was falling asleep in his chair. This is going to be a rough show, ladies and gentlemen. And it's a good show.
It's a really good
is.
show. We've got a poll question done already.
We do?
Yeah.
Wow. We didn't even do one all day yesterday.
I know we didn't. Because what happens here's the problem with Miller and Moulton. We get here in the morning, and if we're both here and we're talkative, it's never about the show.
No.
It's about everything but the show. And then at 5:59, one will look at the other and say, so, what do you want to talk about today? Today, when Felipe started doing
whatever he's doing. I'm Jimmy Butler, man.
whatever his ball handling drills on the other side of the glass, you and I
got game.
We haven't even talked about why I'm doing this.
we don't care.
Are you serious?
45 points, 5 rebounds,
Who
5
cares?
assists.
Okay,
First
yes.
round of the
He was
playoffs,
great.
we are aware.
He was terrific.
7th player in NBA history to have 45 and 0 turnovers in a playoff game.
Which I will say is pretty impressive when you're watching. Wait, Trae Young's just turned it over again. Oh, wait, and another foul was called in that game. That was a tough watch at times.
10 turnovers for Trae Young.
Well, I'm talking about the fouls.
But the fouls, yeah.
Man,
it
man.
was tough.
Man, the officials made up for not calling fouls in the Brooklyn-Boston game. They said, yeah, we got an email. We got a memo saying we're allowing you guys to be a little too physical. We're going to have to nip this in the bud beginning tonight. So that's just what we're dealing with behind the scenes. 53.74 plus food and drink. That's our best offer right now. All right, which apparently does not meet the minimum standard.
Not for me.
Right. And it has to be unanimous. That's the agreement we have on this show. Nobody has 51-49 over the other. It's got to be a 2-0 vote, or it has to be 1-0 and an abstention. That one of the two of us just goes, I don't care. All right. That's so 53.74 plus food and drink, and that's not enough. So if you want us a week from tomorrow night for our draft show, a live Miller and Moulton Twitch broadcast, and we go at it. We do a decent job, though, I must say. It's probably the best work we do all year. We take it seriously. We've done our homework, and we have fun as well. And you get to chime in the Twitch chat room, and we go at it for 5 hours.
That sounds about right. We will go at it on all fronts for about 5 hours come draft night a week from tomorrow night.
Adam in the Twitch chat room is throwing in a full tank of gas, which I have to admit has a little more value these days than normal. Don't just randomly dismiss that, Mark. If it's 53.74 food and drink and a tank of gas, it's starting to add up. That's all I'm saying.
We're getting there. This could happen. Someone challenging my homework on the draft. I do my homework on the draft.
Yes.
I have notebooks. I have notes. I have paper everywhere. I've started my homework probably 3 weeks ago.
And the great thing is, for the first 90 minutes, he's got it all in front of him. By sometime between 9:30 and 10, he can't find his homework.
Pick 21.
Yes.
If I can make it through pick 21, I'm doing well. The problem is there is a balance of bourbon and draft that right around pick 20,
Bourbon begins to win.
wins.
Yes. And usually somewhere in the 20s, he becomes a little hooked on phonics. So that's all right. That's my job.
But we have a method to this that's a little different than the networks do it, because it's all about the players at the network level. We try to give you an analyst from the team's perspective and how one pick will affect everybody else going forward. We just do it a little differently. We have for a while, and we have a lot of fun doing it. We'd love to be out, but the odds are I may go poolside this year. I've threatened it before.
Can I come to your house or no?
Absolutely.
I mean, your wife and dog are going to be okay with us making a racket. Your neighbor's going to be okay with us making a racket.
Wife's got Friday off.
Oh, well,
So
that's good.
She's out.
Hot steaming deal. Okay.
And yeah.
All right. And the daughter doesn't have a vote yet. So that's good. Not quite old enough to vote. So that's good. And, The one neighbor's a big Eagles fan, so he'll have 2 first-round picks. He may join us
He
to
may come
comment
over
afterwards and tell us how he thinks his team did.
I got a Lions fan on one side and an Eagles fan on the other.
Well, there you go. They, in theory, end the draft with
Right.
the one guy. So,
Although he's a little bit older, he might not make it for the pick 32. He might just make it for pick 2.
He'll hope the Lions trade up and take Ritter, the quarterback from Cincinnati, in the mid-20s and move on.
A lot of talk there.
Oh, yeah. Ritter's not going to make it to 32, though. They're going to have to move if they want him. Here's the question. If you're Green Bay, would you do a deal with the Lions? Because Green Bay's got 22 and 28. Would you do a deal? If Detroit wants to give you 32 and 34 for 28, say, okay?
I wouldn't make that deal if I was Detroit. I'd take 22 for those
Well,
two.
first off, if you think Ritter's your quarterback, you'd do that deal. I mean, come on. You can't not do that deal.
I understand, but I think those two should be able to get you higher than 28.
Well, I agree.
That's all.
And I'm with you, but I don't know if it gets you 22. So you may have to settle for 28. But what I'm wondering is if you're Green Bay, obviously it's a division. And
Done. It's the Lions. If I'm Green Bay, look at these
but
guys.
Who knows? I mean, you may think, I don't know. We may have to face this guy for 10 years and we think he's pretty decent. If we didn't have our quarterback situation settled, we'd be interested in this guy.
Maybe they draft him.
Pass on a wide receiver, draft a quarterback. We've seen them do it before. But we're 8 days and nights away from the first round of the NFL draft. We will talk some draft today. We'll talk a little Bucs today. The Brady rumors and story and link to Miami won't go away. We'll talk a little Tampa Bay, but also we want to, and we will, between now and the first round of the draft, we will check in with a beat person for the 8 teams that have multiple first round picks. I believe we're 3 down, 5 to go, and we talk Jets today, who have picks 4 and 10. What will the Jets do? So a little Bucs and a little Jets in our NFL talk today. And of course, Seth's joining the show,
Which we'll talk to him about. Is Apple going to go all in on the NFL?
and the whole, tech stream part of Seth Everett is probably where we will go today. Don't know if we'll be screaming and yelling at one another today.
Only can hope. And maybe it'll be Seth and I that'll scream at one another today instead of David.
Right.
And Seth. Miller and Moulton.
I'll sit this one out.
You going to take a day off?
I will.
Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network.
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, The Training Grove. With a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, The Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with The Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial and use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
do things like I leave dishes in the sink and not have them done, really to fuck with my wife. You know, to make the cleaning lady
clean. Right. Especially when you're dropping them two bills.
We're
$150.
$1.60.
Yeah. Does that include tip?
No, I don't tip all that often.
Oh, okay.
$1.60. I mean, I'm not trying to be a dick here, but I'm not into this. I have to tip for everything under the sun. I don't buy that.
Well, I don't tip like the garbage guys. You know, I will throw money in a card for the pool guy at the end of the year.
I tip her at Christmas. She gets a $40 tip at Christmas.
Okay, yeah. Oh, we tip $40 every month to the cleaning lady. Okay. Now I will say she does a really good job on our house. But
maybe I need to. Ooh,
yeah, that was also his second attempt to pick him like that.
There's way too many times that he has like near career-ending injuries.
Who? Ja?
Ja.
Yeah, a lot of people are doing the Derrick Rose comparison with him in terms of his height and his build
and his explosiveness,
and that he's always attacking the rim, so he's going to end up hurt like D Rose.
It's anxiety-inducing if you're a Grizzlies fan, I'm sure.
Well, Cat's that sequence though was borderline. I mean, Cat was trying to get, and he was trying to do more than pick Morant.
Honestly, Cat's kind of a dirty player. I've come to realize.
second largest loss in playoff franchise history. Shit, they've only been to the playoffs 3 times. I mean, let's slow down with that.
Yeah, you need to put in parenthesis like 30 games.
Right.
Yeah. Minimum 10 games.
Well, that's just someone. Just what stat can we jam in here?
Oh, here we go. Look, they're fourth. Oh, margin of victory.
Morning, Spitz. Five walks, I think 4 in the second, or maybe all 5 in the second. Nope, couldn't make it out of the inning.
You should start using spider tack, you know?
Yeah. $36 million a year for 9 years.
Yep. Have fun.
Yep.
He's so mad.
He's so not New York.
No.
You should hear him after the games. I mean,
I feel like ever since the whole spider tack thing, like ever since he got busted for that.
Well, he didn't get busted. I mean, the whole sport was using it. They just made him stop.
Right. Not busted, yeah. But ever since that whole.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, he's not a dominant pitcher.
But he just, every time I've seen him, he looks angry because he sucks. Look at him.
He just doesn't look comfortable in New York.
No.
You know, like he pitches in Detroit last night, has a bad outing. He comes to his locker afterwards. There's 15 people standing around him. You know, he pitched in Pittsburgh and Houston. All right. It's a different.
There's 2.
Yeah. There's a different, right?
2.
I mean, you know, there's more than 4 people hanging around him in Houston in late September and October only. I mean, this is a totally different animal.
In Houston, you got a beat writer from each team.
Right.
And you got maybe a columnist occasionally.
Right. And
TV guy getting some sound.
Yeah. The toughest questions you're getting are from Richard Justice.
Now this is an elite pitcher.
Yeah. Now this is a mofo right there.
Oh man.
That
Mad Max.
That guy.
All right. Kershaw, my generation of pitchers. Kershaw, Scherzer, Verlander.
Yes. Now, Justin Verlander can pitch anywhere.
Verlander.
And then any day.
Yeah.
Yep.
So can Max Scherzer.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network. Thanks so much for being with us. Felipe dressed as some combination of Jimmy Butler and Dwayne Wade in honor of Jimmy Butler's 45 last night.
It's not a combination. It's just him.
No. It's a combination. Okay. Then it's everything from the knee up is Butler, but that sleeve on the left knee here, to me, is more Wade.
So he wore 2 last night, but I only have 1. So I had to do what I needed to do, you know?
Just so you know, you have to grow out of this soon.
Really soon.
I know.
Really soon. This is, first off, it's April 20th, which is a high holiday. It's not Halloween.
Well, it's okay. I'm only a college kid for 2 more weeks, so.
Well, but that's another thing. First off, all uniforms and everything, we have a rule at 25. So,
yeah,
you got 3 years tops, number one, but also number two, once you graduate college, then you've got real world expectations. You're not allowed to dress like this in the real world. Okay. Combination of radio and college, you can pretty much dress however you want.
You won't see me in public like this. I just did this for you guys, just so that you guys know.
Wow.
You want a camera, though?
No,
you've stop it. You have desperately. You walk out during the commercial break,
right?
So you can put yourself on camera for 48 people on Twitch. You want a camera,
right?
You know you want.
We go to get water, and all of a sudden we come back. You're in the studio. You're performing.
So you didn't dress this way for Miller and Moulton. You dressed this way for you. Let's get that straight.
You can call it that. I call it checking in on family. Because our Twitch audience is our family. Hi, fam. How you doing, family?
Wow. And we like our Twitch audience, but, I wasn't willing to go that far.
I'm not willing to go that far.
Because first off, let's be honest, we may like them more. Hello! Is this on?
Whoa, Mark.
Hello!
Mark, maybe not. Or no, you maybe not. I mix you guys up.
Well, that's good. Miller and Moulton. Try not to mix us up here on the Florida Sports Network. 3 NBA playoffs last night. One big surprise. Phoenix losing at home to New Orleans, which I'm guessing most of you missed and didn't stay up for. Full day of baseball, full day of hockey. Hey, very quickly, should we be concerned about the Lightning here? Well, it's a legitimate question.
I think so. I mean, they have played very average here well,
especially for them. I mean, come on, they're 2-time defending Cup champions.
Right, they've been average for the past couple of months.
Well, but in hockey, home ice is not that big a deal, especially to a veteran team that's like, listen, we could show up, we beat anybody, anywhere, anytime.
I got you. But there's taking game 54 off in February, and there's coasting into the postseason. Teams typically don't want to coast into the postseason.
That's true.
And Tampa right now, I mean, they can't beat Detroit, let alone the teams in their division that they're playoff teams. Their record against playoff teams is below 500 for the past 2 months.
Well, their record against the Eastern playoff teams is, without question, far and away the worst of the 8 teams that are going to make the playoffs. Not even close. That is the stat that concerns me a little bit, even more so than their home loss to the Red Wings last night. Damn. Which is moving them dangerously close to being a wild card team. And that means that, well, could open with the Panthers, but more likely would open with the Carolina/Rangers on the other side, because those 2 teams are tied for first with 5 games to go. But I mean, that, Hedman -2 last night, Vasilevsky giving up 4 to the Wings, which I know is not just all him, but it's like, couldn't get, had most of the third period to get the tying goal last night, and they were trying, couldn't get it. It's like, something seems amiss. This going for the three-peat thing, this is tiring. You played a lot of hockey.
They have played just an absolute ton. They did one in the bubble, which lasted, a very long season that carried itself right into the damn near the beginning of the following season.
Right.
So they played for almost 18 consecutive months, basically.
And won the cup both times.
Right.
And now here they are, the season, they didn't get to go to the Olympics, and this must seem like a forever season. I mean, hell, the playoffs aren't even going to start till May.
Well, and you didn't even get the 3-week break because you were forced to play games because all these COVID games got rescheduled. So this wasn't a break. It was an Olympic break. It was more of a taxing type of.
Well, that's why I ask. There's a part of me that wonders if they could, and they can't because of the schedule, but if they could just get away for 2.5 days, if they could just go, almost like go to Vegas.
They need a Southwest Airlines vacation. Want to get away?
They need a trip to Cabo. They do. If they could just go and have a, check in at 3 on a Friday and then check out at noon on a Sunday and arrive back in Tampa in the afternoon and be like, okay, we're ready to defend the cup. Now we're ready. We needed that.
I got you. I'll up your Vegas with the Bahamas. Closer, easier, and can be done. I mean, maybe we need to send them.
That's what I'm wondering. Just wondering, could they use a bender? That's all. If we could just get our mind right. How could the old Bull Durham, do they need a rain out?
But I don't know if it's that they need a rain out or if they're just tired.
Right.
That a rain out may not be enough. And the East is stacked.
It is. There's not going to be an easy series. You're going to have to win 3 series to get to most likely Colorado. So winning the cup this year from the East is going to be hard.
By the way, if you don't get Colorado, the odds are you're going to get Calgary, who's also really, really good. So I'm concerned.
You are now officially concerned?
I've been for a while watching them because I don't like the way they've been playing when I've been watching them. I know that they believe that they can just find this other playoff gear. And I think with the back-to-back cup wins and the length of time, I just think they may be out of gas this year. Doesn't mean they won't win a playoff series. I just don't see how they can make a run this playoff. Not the way they've been playing.
As is pointed out in our Twitch chat room, they won their cups in September and July. Usually you win your Stanley Cups the second week of June. So they won the one cup 90 days later than that, and then they won the other cup 3 to 4 weeks later than that.
Now, the break they may get if they end up with Carolina and not the Rangers. Carolina lost their goaltender.
And they're banged up elsewhere, too.
Right. And I think that matchup favors the Lightning.
Well, they do own Carolina.
So I think if they get Carolina in the first round, that could be a big break for the Tampa Bay Lightning.
And right now, because Carolina owns the tiebreaker against the Rangers at this moment in time, right now the Lightning are in third place by a point. They would actually open with Toronto. And, of course, we've got the whole storyline. The Leafs haven't gotten out of the first round since 2004. Never mind the fact that their Stanley Cup drought. This is year 55. Basically in my lifetime. Not in your lifetime have the Leafs won the cup because you were born, what, 69? Right. And I was a year and a half old the last time the Leafs won the cup.
That's a drought.
Yet, hey, they surpassed my favorite team's drought. We did 54. I mean, the Wings did, 55 to, 98? They had like a 43-year drought. The Blackhawks drought was 49 years before they won. They went from 61 to 2010. By the way, very quietly, the Flyers haven't won the cup since 75. Dude, that's 47 years, man.
With some really good teams.
And they've been to the finals like 9 times since then. But so on the concerned meter of 1 to 10, where
8.
are you? Wow, you're that concerned?
Yes.
I'm like a 6.5. There's a part of me that thinks that this will wake them up. Losing 4-3 to the Wings, they'll be like, are you kidding me? Come on, we're bad. I mean, John Cooper might actually raise his voice, Mark. That's how bad a loss this is.
The starting 5 coming up on the other side. A great show lined up for you. Seth Everett among the guests ahead. Thank you so much for listening right here to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program The Training Grove. With a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, the Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with the Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial and use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Don't know why. That really bothered me. Put your hand on the lens. Don't you grab my camera. Try to, no. Screw you. You can push me out of the way or okay. Eagles PR guy. Buddy Ryan and I were getting into it. Eagles PR guy comes over, puts his hand on the lens, and I grabbed his arm. I go, don't you fucking touch the camera. 20 years old. Guy was fucking such a motherfucker.
What'd you say to him, Reg?
All right. You're a Premier League footballer and you score a clutch goal. What's your go-to celebration? Are you interacting with the crowd? Are you doing a knee slide?
Shirt off.
Shirt off?
Shirt off, knee slide.
Hey, I think I'm a knee slide to the corner guy.
Yeah, and with the shirt off, knee slide to the corner.
I'm not a shirt off guy.
Are you kicking the flag? Anything? Nothing?
No.
Just knee slide?
No, knee slide, shirt
off. Are you like pumping the shirt, or are you
probably just holding it?
See, if I take the shirt off, I take off my jersey and I do the Messi where he just shows the back of the jersey and the crowd's like,
I think you've given this a lot more thought.
Yes.
No, because I just saw.
I think he's actually done it in his room.
I think
the
he did it before
slide
the
and
show.
everything. He's got a bruise.
Well, in FIFA, you have a wheel after you score that you can choose what kind of celebration you want. It's the same thing in Madden as well. Madden, you can do the first down celebration.
Yeah, Paul, Hedman was -2 last night. I watched a good chunk of that third period. They had the regulars on seemingly the whole period. Yeah, it's what we said. Maple Leaf 67.
What's the Indians?
Well, the Indians is 48.
Yeah.
I think he's just looking up hockey. But the Flyers, man, it's 47 years and counting because they ain't winning it next year or the year after. So they're going to get to a 50-year drought in Philadelphia in a great hockey city. They went to the finals in 76, 80, 85, 87, 95, 2010,
Guess who hosted last night's Suns game? Or refereed.
The guy Chris Paul has a problem with?
Yep. Scott Foster. He is 0-14 in his playoff career when Scott Foster referees games. That is unbelievable.
Got to be the best stat. Not 95, 97 for the Flyers, but I mean, that's at least 6.
Hey, you said you are a Flyers fan.
No, I'm a Rangers
Or
fan.
Rangers, that's right, Rangers. Oh, I was thinking of the Islanders.
Right. That's why the team that broke my heart as a kid was the Islanders. The Rangers had the 40-plus year Stanley Cup drought at the time, and they put some pretty good teams together. But at that point, and yet they always had to go through the Islanders. And they beat them in 79, but lost to them 3 other times.
Damn. So Islanders was like your biggest rival growing up.
Yeah. In part because my other teams weren't any good. They couldn't play in a meaningful game. That's at 8 straight losing seasons.
Oh,
Giants went 18 years without going to the playoffs.
Knicks, I guess.
Yeah, the Knicks were in transition. They just clearly weren't in the class of the Sixers and the Celtics.
And you were a young lad when they won.
I don't remember. I was 7
Exactly.
when they won their last title.
Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes before the hour. Thanks so much for being with us. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network. James Yarcho, part of BucsNation.com, also co-host of the Locked On Bucs podcast. He'll join us in an hour. We'll preview the Jets, who are picking at 4 and 10 in the first round, and they also have 2 high second-round picks as well. What are they, like 4 of the top 38?
Yes,
I think, aren't they like
exactly
35 and 38 in the second round? So we'll talk a little Jets and Seth Everett in our 8 o'clock hour. Time for
The Starting Five. 5 stories you need to know. It's the Starting Five on Miller and Moulton. Here's number 1.
Well, we'll start with the NBA playoffs. It was a pretty good game. Heat and Hawks, 3-point game, little over 3 minutes to go. Jimmy Butler said, "Give me the damn ball." Scores the next 7 points. That gave the Heat the separation they needed. Butler with 45 for the Heat in a 115-105 win to go up 2-0 on Atlanta. Heat won by 10. The spread was 8. Total was 220. The over-under was 221.5. Final possession, they just dribbled it out.
One of the things that's happened now in basketball that never used to happen. You know, they kind of shot till the end 15 years ago. They don't do that anymore.
Memphis took care of Minnesota. The T-Wolves were very happy with themselves for winning game 1 and didn't necessarily show up for game 2. 7 Grizz in double figures, including Ja Morant with 23. Memphis won by 28, 124-96 to even that series at a game apiece. And surprisingly, the Pelicans went to the desert and beat the Suns by 11. 125-114. Brandon Ingram with 37, and then he raced off the court at the end of the game and said, "Let's go home." And they do so, tied at a game apiece. And what's worth watching, Devin Booker in the third quarter, after scoring 31 points in a little over 2 quarters, left with a right hamstring injury and did not return.
Probably was because of the outfit he wore to the game.
Worth mentioning, Chris Paul is also 0-14 in playoff games refereed by Scott Foster.
who ref last night in the Pelicans 125-114 win. 3 NBA playoff games tonight. Nets in Boston, Celtics 3.5-point favorite. Sixers a 1.5-point favorite in Toronto.
Yeah, I love Toronto in that game.
And the Bucs a 10-point favorite at home against the Bulls tonight. Ben Simmons, by the way, cleared for contact in practice.
Whatever. I know you're reporting it's the starting five. Put him on the damn court at some point, and when that happens, let me know.
Kyrie, by the way, fined $50,000 for his actions in Game 1.
For his actions?
Yeah, well,
the double bird?
The double bird, and when he was walking to the locker room, some female fan was yelling at him, and he said something pretty crude to her, which was, caught on tape. And so, hey, Mark, this is not the 1980s NBA, okay?
No, it is not.
I mean, Kyrie does not get fined if he's in this series in the mid-80s.
No.
In fact, NBC would have put a marketing campaign around it to promote the rest of the series. Although mid-80s CBS at the NBA.
They still might with this one.
Bleep my bleep.
So Game 2 tonight in Boston. Baseball last night, the Rays with a much-needed win. They had lost 5 of 6 and 6 of 8. Wander Franco with a 2-run homer. Rays even their record at 6-6 with a 6-5 win in the north side against the Cubs. Pujols, 2 hits, 2 runs scored. He's hitting .389. Has not homered at Marlins Park, however. It is the only ballpark that he has never homered in. Well, think about it. They didn't open the sucker to 2012, and by then he went to the Angels. So he hasn't played in it hardly at all. It's the last ballpark left for him to homer in. But he's playing well so far for the Cards. Wainwright the win 5-1 over the Marlins. Yankees doubled up the Tigers 4-2. Cabrera's 4 hits shy of 3,000 to join the 500 homer, 3,000 hit club. I think there's like 5 or 6 members of it, and a couple of them are tainted. Mets swept a doubleheader from the Giants. They won the first game 5-4-10, and then Max Scherzer gave up 1 hit in 7 innings in the nightcap. 3-1 Mets for the sweep. They're 9-3. Red Sox edged the Blue Jays despite only scratching out 3 hits. They won 2-1. White Sox and Guardians postponed yet again. They'll try to play today. I mean, it only snowed in Cleveland yesterday.
Snowed a lot of places yesterday.
Right. I mean, Braves beat the Dodgers, who only had 2 hits, 3-1. Max Fried was terrific, 7 scoreless innings. And how about this? The day after Freeman homers against the Braves, Kenley Jansen gets the save for the Braves in Los Angeles against the Dodgers. I mean,
good early season stuff.
Padres hand the Reds their 8th straight loss. They're 2-10.
Where are you going to go?
6-2 Padres. Smallest crowd in Oakland in 42 years.
Where are they going to go?
Vegas. A's 2-1 over the Orioles before 3,748.
Ouch. And we thank you.
That's after playing before the smallest home opening crowd in 40 years yesterday. You think the fans maybe sense that they're out of here, so they're out of here?
All I hope is that Cincinnati fans do the same thing. The way they've been playing when they come home, no one should show for these games.
Seattle beat Texas 6-2. Mariners with 3 homers. Robbie Ray picks up his 2nd win. Phillies are 4-8. C.J. Cron with a 3-run homer in the 7th for the Rockies, who are 8-3. Colorado 6-5 over Philly. Royals 4-3 over the Twins. Salvador Perez had 2 homers. Angels get by Houston 7-2. Washington swept 2 from Arizona, 6-1 and 1-0. And the Brewers 5-2 over the Pirates. NHL, we talked about it earlier. Bad loss for the Lightning. At home, Detroit beat them 4-3. Could be a costly loss. It moves them within a point of Boston for 3rd place in the division. If you're in 4th or 5th, you're a wild card. You have to play a first-place team in the first round. Boston got by St. Louis in overtime 3-2. And that moves the Blues into a tie with Minnesota in the division. And Minnesota right now owns the tiebreaker because they played one less game. Rangers move into a first-place tie with the Hurricanes with their third straight shutout, 3-0 over Winnipeg. Panthers, meanwhile, have won 11 in a row. 11 in a row. They're now tied with Colorado for the most points in the league. Who knows? Maybe they'll end up with home ice throughout all of the playoffs. How about a rematch of the 96 finals?
Ooh. Sign me up right now.
Got to get the plastic rats then.
I'm fine.
3-2 Panthers rallied over the Islanders in overtime. Toronto beat Philly 5-2. The Leafs have basically clinched second in the division. They're 8 points clear of Tampa, and they're 8 points behind Florida, so the Leafs should get home ice in their first-round playoff series. Minnesota 2-0 over Montreal. Calgary, a loser in a shootout to Nashville 3-2, but their lead in the division is 10, and Nashville is now the first wildcard team out west. Kings 2-1 over Anaheim. They're 5 points clear of Vegas and Vancouver for third in the division. Canucks left a point on the board last night by losing in a shootout to Ottawa 4-3, and San Jose beat Columbus 3-2. So they're doing the match again.
Right.
Only this time, no professional golfers.
Nope. Just professional quarterbacks.
Right.
Brady golf.
Correct. June 1st in Vegas, TNT, Brady, Rodgers against Mahomes and Allen. I'm assuming that's how they're going to do it. Old guard against new guard.
I'm hoping it's a scramble.
It's only 12 holes.
I'm hoping it's a scramble.
You saying the golf may not be that good?
No, it won't be.
Well,
give both of them a shot to make one good shot. That's fine.
Well, listen, Brady, Rodgers, and Mahomes are not showing up for any of the voluntary, mini camp stuff. They've basically said, "I'll see you." Well, I don't know about Josh Allen, is what I'm saying.
I understand.
Of the four, Josh Allen's the only one who may actually show his face in Orchard Park, is what I'm saying. The other three have plenty of time to work on their golf games because they're not showing up till mid to late July.
Better send them some orange whips.
Oh, couldn't we all use some orange whips? Did you see this other golf story that emerged yesterday? Mark, we have a winner. The first PGA Tour pro that wants to defect and go to the Saudi Tour is Robert Garrigus.
Well, there you have it. This tour's the success rates just increased tenfold.
Mark, it's got to start somewhere, but if you think about it, these are the pros who I think will go and could go in mass. Think about it. He's 44. He's got one career win. It was 12 years ago in Orlando in a tournament that doesn't even exist anymore. Now, you have to ask the PGA Tour to play in another tour when the PGA Tour is having an event the same week. That's how all those golfers got to play in Saudi Arabia in February when they were head-to-head with Pebble.
Right.
The PGA Tour said, well, we'll give you this exemption once, but we ain't going to do it again. Well, you got to give the tour 45 days notice. And he says, hey, I want to play in London in the LIV Golf Invitational June 9th through the 11th. And that's head-to-head against the tournament the week before the U.S. Open. So he gave them the 45 days notice. The tour has to let them know in the next 2 weeks, thumbs up or thumbs down. And the likelihood is they'll say thumbs up, and then you're dead to us. He's played 20 events a year for 13 years. Hasn't played a full year on tour, though, in 4 years. His best finish so far this year is T16 at Pebble. What's interesting, though, is that Robert Garrigus is teaming up with Tommy Gainey this week at the Zurich Invitational in New Orleans. Don't you think somebody's got to ask him about this?
Absolutely.
So Robert Garrigus looks as if he's the first golfer on record that is going to join the so-called Saudi Tour. Quick NFL news. Deshaun showed up at the Browns' voluntary offseason program yesterday in the snow. Took some nice selfies, embracing the weather, which, of course, is the reason why he didn't want to play there, and they had to offer him all the guaranteed money, was because he hated the weather.
You hate it a lot less with all that money.
Baker Mayfield didn't show up. I think that's a mistake. If I was Baker, first off, if I work out at home and I get injured, they don't have to pay him a dime.
Right.
Secondly,
Right.
No. I'm showing up. You're going to have to put in writing. We don't want you here. You're covered. Don't worry. If you fall off a cliff, you're going to get your money. I would be there at Browns camp
you'd
if I
certainly
was
make
Baker.
it uncomfortable for the Browns. If you want to get traded, you're more likely to have that happen if you're showing up at their camp and two quarterbacks are there and then the questions have to be asked. Absolutely, David.
Remember when Favre unretired? He showed up at Packers training camp, and it was awkward, him running the, B team, but he showed up, and that's when they said, yeah, we got to trade him. We got to get him out of there. Cooper Kupp, by the way, says, I'm looking for a, quote, fair deal. I mean, he did win Offensive Player of the Year and Super Bowl MVP. He's making 14 and a quarter this year, 14 and a half the following. And he's looking at Devontae and then making double that. He says, listen, I don't want to say any new deals, but I would like a raise. So we'll see where that goes. And Carolina offensive coordinator Ben McAdoo screwed up yesterday. Right after he was asked a question, hey, what have you learned, in the last few years after the Giants fired you? And he said, I've learned how to deal with the media better. So then they said, who's the starting quarterback? And he goes, oh, Sam Darnold. And then he goes, oh, damn, I wasn't supposed to say that. Which, of course, who else is going to be the starter, though?
David, we're all learning.
I feel bad for the guy. What's he supposed to say? What? A quarterback not yet on the roster? I mean, come on.
Baker Mayfield.
Who's the starter? Well, right now it's Sam Darnold. So, anyway, that was
the starting five every weekday morning at this time on Miller and Moulton.
By the way, we have confirmation Josh Allen did show up for the voluntary stuff. So one of the four, but then again, he's the only quarterback on the list who hasn't won a Super Bowl. So I guess you got.
What's his handicap?
Don't know. We'll find out. It shows where the level of, stardom, though, that he's reached. Brady, Rodgers, Mahomes, we need a fourth. And they called Josh Allen. Interesting.
The Mannings have to be pissed they weren't invited to this. How can you have a match without the Mannings?
How can you do anything on national television without the Mannings?
Dadgum good point, David.
Miller and Moulton.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the Chicken Bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today. Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, The Training Grove. With a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, The Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with The Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. And use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, The Training Grove. With a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, the Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with the Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial and use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Here's a serious question. If you're George McNeil,
So funny you say that. I literally was about to text him and go, so you're going to go play the Saudi tour?
the only thing is, my guess is they'll also want to kick you off the champions.
I don't know if George cares.
Well, and also, with the amount of money they're throwing around, why would you need to play? Okay.
He's already got a good pension. They can't take that away from him.
Right. Okay. Well, he didn't lose that in the divorce? Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay. So if so, A, it's a great pension. Okay. B, what's he, 43, 44?
Somewhere right around
I
there.
mean, it's still a while yet till he can do the champions. Think of the money he can earn in 5 years. There are 8 tournaments this year. I mean,
David, you mentioned him, and the only thing in my head was, I would do it.
I
nearly
if
picked
I
up
was
my
him, I would.
I would too.
I'd do it. I'd be gone. I'd be gone. Come on, you're playing 6 events a year.
You're not making any cuts.
You know why? You don't want to fly out for the one West Coast event that you get in, then go to Puerto Rico. I mean, come on, you don't want to do this. You know your schedule. It's fucking right there, set in advance.
If I were the LIV tour also, I'd probably schedule my tournaments around the WGC events when the Puerto Rico opens and you know what I'm talking about. Make these George McNeils make a decision. You want to go play the Podunk Tour event or you want to play my event? Either that or I'd do it the week before the majors every year.
That's what I would do it.
London tournament right before St. Andrews.
Maybe not because it interferes with the Scottish Open, so I might do it the week
2 weeks before,
which is July 4th weekend.
Yeah, because the Scottish Open theoretically is on. Well, it's part of the European Tour, though.
It is.
Because the British isn't. The British is its own event, just like the U.S. Open's.
Well, but I think it counts in terms of points.
Yeah, but I think it's its own event.
Oh, totally it is.
I don't know if the Scottish is or not.
I thought the Scottish is part of the.
Yeah,
European
but
Tour.
you know, is it like the Canadian Open that they're still open qualifying? You know, the Canadian Open's part of the PGA Tour, but you can still, as a Canadian, go qualify for it. Same way with the PGA. So I don't know.
What I will find interesting is, see, and I don't think, like, let's just say Bubba joins. I think the Masters will still let him play.
I do too.
Now,
You think the Masters is going to tell a Masters champion they can't come to Augusta?
They didn't invite Norman. I mean, they, that I'm just
Wasn't a champion.
Well, but they, according to Norman, though, if you're a past major winner, the Masters invite you to their tournament.
Come back.
to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Miller and Moulton, thanks so much for being with us here on the Florida Sports Network. We'll talk a little football. James Yarcho, Locked on Bucs podcast, bucsnation.com. He'll join us in a little more than 30 minutes time. 1 hour from now, Daniel Kelly, who used to work for the Jets, now covers them for Sports Illustrated, author of a book, Whatever It Takes. We'll preview the Jets, who not only pick 4th and 10th, but they have 2 of the first 6 picks of the second round as well. It's a huge draft for Joe Douglas and the Jets. Both need to nail it, need to go 4 for 4, or if he uses one of those picks to trade up, he needs to go 3 for 3. Think about where they are in that division, how the other teams seem to have quarterbacks.
Who are they even looking at to catch?
Well, I'm guessing that they still hold the Patriots in some regard, so they say we can catch Miami, even though, this is the thing that the new coach and the new regime is going to have to overcome in Miami. Flores went 4-2 against the Patriots, and he swept the Jets each of the last 2 years. And that may not sound like a lot to a lot of people. You look up the last time the Dolphins had a stretch where they went 4-2 against New England, and look up the last time they swept the Jets in back-to-back years.
And David, I don't care if they sweep the Jets or if they sweep the Patriots, but that 4-2 thing's got to stick. I don't care how they get to it. Hey, they could lose one of those games if they start beating Buffalo every other year for the next couple of years. But that 4-2 mark in the division is what it takes to become a good football team. I don't really care what division you're in. If you can't go 4-2,
right,
then you're not regarded as a good football team.
And the AFC is so loaded that you're trying to get to 11. I mean, 10 can get you in. It got people in last year, but then again, the year before, you needed 11 to get in. And there was a chance, if the Dolphins had won their season finale, that the Colts with 11 would not have made it. So right now, if you're in the AFC, you need to get to 11, and it's tough to get to 11 if you go 3-3 in your division. It means you got to go 8-3 in all the rest. Simple math, Mark.
That's it. But that's what it is. And that's the benchmark now for Miami. And I think you're on to something there, David, because if they don't do it, it'll be very simple. If they're 3-3, well, then the odds are they're going to be a 9-10 win team, and that's not going to be good enough. I don't know if our poll question's good enough, but we've got one up.
I like it. I got to admit, it's got some spunk to it, as Ed Asner famously said, or Lou Grant, I should say, the character.
You've got spunk.
And I hate spunk. That's where we need a bell. Felipe, first time today, Felipe hit the bell and I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
These almost outdate me, though.
Well, yeah. I mean, when that line was uttered in that show, you were probably 3.
But it did enough time and reruns that I've seen most every one of the Mary Tyler Moore shows. But today is 420. For those of you that know, you know. For those of you that don't, that's the Stoners holiday.
Right. 420.
And in celebration of 420, what will be legal in Florida first? Recreational weed, legalized gambling. I voted gambling.
That is a great poll question.
Thank you.
Thanks, Felipe.
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
It's a great poll
That's
question.
the first time there's been any energy in you since 5:38 this morning.
Well,
when you made a crossover move coming into this room to get yourself on camera.
I think it was the double horn. That he woke himself up with the double horn, so now he's engaged for the next 6 to 8 minutes. So that's the poll question. In Florida, what do you think will be legalized first? Recreational weed, recreational sports betting? I say sports betting. You know, when this whole thing collapsed in, right before the holidays, that we thought the timeline would be, well, okay, DeSantis up for election in 2022. He's not going to deal with this in 2022. But then shortly thereafter, this is going to get dealt with because it's just too much damn money.
That's it.
I mean, we're talking billions. We're not talking about 10, 12 million here. We're not talking a number 3 starter. Okay?
No, we're
not
talking a franchise.
Yeah, we're not talking a number 2 wide receiver.
In fact, we're not talking an NHL franchise either.
Nor an MLS. And I don't even know if we're talking the Clippers.
But we might be talking the Washington Commanders here.
Correct.
Or
Denver
the
Broncos.
Miami Dolphins.
Or the Miami Dolphins,
has
right.
to sell them because of
We're talking about billions here. So you and I both think sometime in 2023. I certainly think by the 2023 football season, my hope is that the legislature will deal with it in the early spring of 2023, and they'll get this thing straightened out.
Would be nice to have it by March Madness of 2023.
Yeah, I think that that's a best case scenario. Don't know that I have confidence that they'll do it, especially since the governor's at war with Disney again, and Disney is in on DraftKings, and so I'm
and that's the tentacles of this, and that's why we don't do politics, and we're not trying to do politics. But the fact of the matter is, right now, if you're paying any attention, the governor's office and Disney don't get along all that well. Disney also has a piece of DraftKings. This original gambling bill pushed DraftKings out.
right. So it's like, hold on a second. Are you really going in the face of Disney? And now apparently he's doing something else here, which might be in the face of Disney. Depends on how you interpret it. And so I think there are those of us who are watching this from a gambling perspective going, that's an interesting partner to no longer want to dance with here. So we'll see how that plays out. So we're both voting gambling on this 420. It's our poll question. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton, FL Sports Network, all on Twitter, or FloridaSportsNetwork.com.
I don't know. I might take weed.
Really?
Well, wasn't there just a bill passed that decriminalized it nationwide or something like that?
Yeah, it got through Congress. I don't know if the Senate passed it yet. That's on me. But
yeah, I think it went through the House. Don't think it went before the Senate.
And don't know if it'll pass. There was, a lot of talk that it wouldn't pass when it does. I don't know if decriminalizing is going to do anything to speed up legalizing it in the state of Florida, because you still have a large majority of this state who didn't even want the medical to happen.
Well, here's my perspective. What is the NFL more against? Sports betting or smoking weed?
Smoking weed.
Well, now it's weed.
Calvin Ridley?
Okay, well, that's only betting on NFL games as a player. They're all in on gambling.
Right. What does the NFL benefit more from? Gambling or weed?
That's a good point.
No, it's the point. It's not a good point. It's the point.
Although they need their players to recover from injuries more quickly, but both. See?
Not as much money in the second one, unfortunately, for the league.
So that's our poll question. FloridaSportsNetwork.com, and vote accordingly. Can I switch subjects on you?
Absolutely.
And I don't know if I can jam this in here in our remaining time in this segment, but did you see, obviously we're just a couple weeks into the baseball season, but in the minors, they're using a pitch clock. And in the first 132 minor league games, that included a 14-second clock with the bases empty and an 18-second clock with runners on, and penalties for pitchers and hitters that run afoul of it.
Are those the numbers that Manfred wants to go to in the league? Okay,
that's where he wants to go to.
Wanted to make sure we clarified that.
So they're shaving over 20 minutes off games. From just the year before. Yep. Over 20 minutes. More than 1/3 of minor league games over the 3-day sample with the clock ended in less than 2.5 hours. One game finished in 1 hour and 59 minutes, another in 2 hours. 27% of games fell within 230 to 240. Nearly 3 times the percentage of just last year. Only 15% of the games went more than 3 hours, compared to 52% of the same games with no timer in place a year ago.
Now, add some time to this for major leagues because of commercials.
Okay.
And I'm not saying you, David.
No.
I'm just saying, but the key thing is, if they're getting the majority of these done in 2:30, that means they can get the majority of the major league games done in 3 hours with the extra TV commercials. You're getting a 3-hour window and you can get a game over with.
By the way, scoring and hits, identical. So the number one pick of the draft a year ago, Henry Davis, is a catcher with the Pirates. And he said, it seems like it's accomplished exactly what Major League Baseball wants the game to look like in a few years. Now, this is going to be implemented next year. Manfred doesn't need the Players Association's approval, but they told the Players Association while they were negotiating in February and March, just so you know, I'm doing this. I have the authority to do it. Don't get bent out of shape. It's happening.
Along with the shift being done.
Right. No plans for a pitch clock this year. All right. But anyway, there you go. 14 and 18 seconds.
That's a huge amount of time.
Over 20 minutes.
That's absolutely crazy in a good way.
There was a game last week in which it was bottom of the ninth, bases loaded, 2 outs, 3-2 count, and the batter, was in the box, and then he stepped out with 1 foot in, and he, was trying to ask for time, and the home plate umpire called him out. Said, don't know what to tell you, man. You got to be ready to go. I'm all for it. All for it.
I love it. I love it. Still, with all of that, the only baseball game, the only baseball team I want to see is a leisurely drive to Savannah.
Savannah Bananas.
It's the only baseball that I'm interested in right now. Trying to figure out my summer road trip to Savannah to catch a Bananas game.
So obviously, early returns. We'll see if they keep enforcing it as strictly as they are right now.
Which is the key to these things.
Of course.
But if the commissioner wants this, then you would think the mandate's going to be put down to enforce it by the letter of the law.
There's going to be so much resistance at the major league level. There's going to be a lot of arguing in the first 2 months. If the umpires, Mark, this is just like when in the NBA and the hockey and the NFL, when they start, enforcing something strictly, and the players for the first 4 to 6 weeks lose their mind.
Yeah. By Memorial Day, it'll be just fine.
Hope so. 14 and 18 second pitch clocks. Get ready for them. They're a year away. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network.
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, The Training Grove. With a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, The Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with The Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial and use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today. You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
What are you? What are you doing?
Hello there. Hello there.
Spitz, while the pitch clocks at certain levels are not new, they're new at the highest levels, and they're coming to the major leagues next year. So it is new because Rob Manfred mandated it.
What does it mean if someone has spunk? That's a compliment, right?
Just that they're spunk, a lot of energy. You at 5:30 have spunk.
I have spunk at 5:30.
At 5:55, you had no more spunk.
I know.
Spunk levels were low.
Shower.
Yep.
I was gonna shower this morning, but I need.
But instead, you took the 10 minutes that it would take to put a shower
Believe it or
together
not, the
to put that
shower
outfit on.
the shower will do you better than 10 extra minutes of sleep. It really will.
Why do you encourage him, DC?
Watch out! He's got get away from the top speed.
That's the best one.
That was when he was with CBS.
Boy, because Gus did an NBA game the other
And
day,
he's doing one
Yes.
tonight.
and people are just so pissed
Why?
because he's not doing the March Madness. Like Bobby Regan wrote a thing like, "Let's bring the man home."
I will say it's weird. It's weird hearing him do basketball.
Well,
that's
he's
not
doing
March
a game on
Madness.
TNT, and they won't let him do the tournament. That's kind of what people are saying. Like, really?
Right. Wait, I thought he did a couple first round games. This year.
No,
No.
Gus hasn't done the tournament in a decade.
What?
Damn close to a decade.
Bring the man home is all Bobby's saying, and he's right.
Well, he left CBS.
Right, but the
Oh.
tournament's on TNT.
Right. But they had to work out a special arrangement between Fox and Turner for him to do these two
Right.
playoff games. But also then they have to bump out. See, CBS gets 4 play-by-play guys and Turner gets 4. See, Harlan, who does football for CBS, counts as a Turner play-by-play guy. So you got Harlan, you got Anderson, Brian Anderson, whom they love. So then it's a matter of their other two voices. And so who is it you're going to take out? And then Fox has to allow it.
Which I think Fox would allow it.
I would if I was Fox.
More Gus is better for you.
I think so. He got, I don't know about trouble, Paul, but
He didn't get in trouble.
No, people just said, if you could not go there again, then that'd be.
And it was in Madden 12, I think, like the video game, and everyone was like, "What? Is this racist?"
Pretty tough to be.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean, given the fact that the announcer's a black dude.
right.
I'm just saying.
also like, if you're running from the cops, you're gonna want to be fast, you know?
Right.
Like they got fast cars, and like,
Watch out.
he's got getting away from the cop speed. Oh God, Stokely down the sideline! Wow, it's amazing.
That was something, that's for sure.
He also looks like Jiminy Cricket.
Well, one of those went over the air just a minute ago. So
No, yeah, I know.
Yeah. So that's what do you got going on over there? Let's just turn off everything but the proper mic.
Yes.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes after the hour. Thanks for being with us. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network. our poll question today, and you can find it, whether it be at that Mark Miller, at the David Moulton, at FL Sports Network on Twitter, or if you go to floridasportsnetwork.com. It is April 20th. So in celebration of 420, what will be legal in Florida first? Recreational weed, legalized sports betting. And right now, it's damn near a dead heat. Sports betting by a nose.
I think it'll be close, but I think sports gambling at the end of the day will win out. Far more money in it. Far more money. And there is a boatload of money in that smelly, flowery stuff, too.
Is that what we're calling it these days?
I call it whatever you want, whatever makes you happy. A reminder, the Miller and Moulton Draft Show is 1 week from tomorrow.
And it's up for bidding.
You want to host it at your house, it can be done.
Or your business.
Yeah, either one.
Right. Right now, the winning bid is $53.74.
Plus food and a tank of gas.
Right.
Each.
Oh, now each. Great. Bid's getting higher.
I drive a truck.
Well played. James Yarcho coming up in about 15 minutes' time. We'll talk a little Bucs. Top of the hour, we'll talk a little Jets with Daniel Kelly because they've got picks 4, 10, and then 2 of the first 6 picks in the second round.
So I wondered about this a couple of weeks ago, and I guess I wasn't the only one wondering. Winning Time, the HBO show about the LA Lakers of the 80s, of the Showtime Lakers.
Man, a lot of people are talking about this.
It's a great show.
This reminds me, and this is 10 plus years ago now, when ESPN did Playmakers, and that it created a buzz.
And this is doing the same thing. But Jerry West is demanding an apology and a retraction for what they call a baseless characterization of the Laker great.
Now, I have not seen the show. I have seen a few clips. I don't have HBO.
And I don't either. So they had a free weekend. I saw the first 2. It's enough for me to rebuy HBO. I've just been busy because I'm going to get HBO again and binge watch this thing in a day because it's fantastic. And the actors are really good. They did a terrific job, in my estimation, with the characters in this show.
But Jerry West is being depicted, how shall I put this? As, can I say a-hole?
Oh, as a big a-hole.
Okay, but I'm just saying, can I say that?
Not the whole word.
Right. No.
What you said's
right.
Good.
That I'm allowed to say.
Right.
Yeah, that's basically how he's being depicted.
And a drunk.
Not really much a drunk, just angry all the time. Well, yeah, he has a glass of scotch in his hand every once in a while, but...
Well, I'm just going to tell you what the letter said. Winning Time falsely and cruelly portrays West, who played 14 seasons for the Lakers and coached them for 3, as an out-of-control, rage-filled drunk. So I'm just going by what Jerry West people are calling it. They're calling him they're making him look like a drunk.
Now,
particularly in the first couple episodes, they have him lined up at the bar, throwing the trophy through a window, all banged up.
Now, the Jerry West of the late 70s, he has even said, I was not a good person. I could not handle the stress of being the head coach. And even though we had winning records most years, the losing just ate at me. And it was not a pleasure to be around me. And he has said, I had to, when I quit as head coach of the Lakers and was away from it for a few years before coming back as GM, I heard an interview in which he said, I had to apologize to my family and just say, I understand this gets the best of me. I can't handle the losing.
Bob Ryan's taking issue with it.
Right. Big defender of Jerry West, Bob Ryan. And I will say, Bob Ryan is a much bigger expert on basketball than the author of the book, who they took liberties with and turned it into this miniseries. Jeff Pearlman, by the way, the author of the book, who's highly regarded, writes great books. He wrote the book on the USFL.
Right, and we've had him on the show several times. Jeff Pearlman said, truth be told, the show is reminding people of Showtime's greatness, invoking rich memories of the glory time in NBA history. Are the characters exact fits? No. They're, wait for it, actors, wait for it, scripts written by, wait for it, writers. And the writing is insanely sharp, smart, cool.
Apparently, legendary Lakers announcer Chick Hearn doesn't come off all that well at times. Now, I will say, and I never met Chick, but people who did meet Chick and were around Chick, I didn't hear a lot of great things. Okay. Now, there are people who have two sides to them. All right. But I mean, hey, Al Michaels has been on the record. He did Lakers basketball for a very short time when he was out there. And he said, yeah, Chick wanted no part of me. He was not nice to me. Okay.
Well, Pat Riley was next to him in the booth for a little bit during that season, and the show depicts him kind of just like tossing Pat Riley aside. Like, hey, shut up when I tell you to shut up.
Well, I think Chick was also a lot like Vince Scully. I mean, Chick really preferred to do the game alone.
Right.
I think the one thing that they, that you can either say is a good thing or bad thing, it is the 70s. I mean, every meeting starts out with a martini. I mean, there's not a meeting that goes on without somebody pouring a cocktail for somebody else. It is very much in the Mad Men-esque, and I know that was a different genre, but I mean, it does have that depiction of guys in offices. We start the meeting out with a cocktail, and then we get down to business.
Cocktail and a cigarette.
Yes. Which really was the Tonight Show all through the 70s. People were just sitting there drinking and smoking.
So I find it, I don't think HBO is going to back down.
Oh, goodness, no. No way.
Because they very much say that it's a depiction.
They will write the biggest check imaginable before they'll back down from this. No way. Suck it up, big boy, is what HBO will say.
And for the most part, it's an accurate show, but there are a couple things that they twist for dramatic purposes. Like in the last episode, the first time that Magic Johnson played at the Boston Garden, they showed that game, it did end in real life as a one-possession win for the Lakers, but in the show, they showed it as Michael Cooper making a game-winning layup, when in reality, Norm Nixon got fouled and made 2 free throws.
But doesn't make for the story, because they've taken liberties with Nixon's character as well.
Right, which, by the way, is being played by his son.
Right.
Which is amazing, because he looks just like him.
Imagine that. So, we've been talking about winning time a bit, and this story popped yesterday. I thought it was interesting that Jerry West folks are I'm not surprised that they're not happy. I'm surprised that they're demanding an apology.
I mean, after all, he was the logo. I don't think is he still the logo?
He's still the logo.
Really? Because there was a movement to change it. First off, people wanted to change it after Kobe died. They wanted to make it Kobe, but also just to modernize it.
Hasn't been done yet.
I'll be cool with it, especially if it's Kobe, because he's got some great pictures, but I think it's a great logo.
It's a great player. Great shot. Yeah, he ain't getting an apology. He ain't getting a retraction. In fact, if anything, people will tell more stories.
That's the bad part of it. James Yarcho coming up next. Miller and Moulton.
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program The Training Grove, with a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, The Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with The Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial and use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled, marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the Chicken Bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. Well, that's no good, though.
Here's my question. What if
Zion comes back?
what do you do there? Everybody's talking about Ben Simmons. What do you do if you're New Orleans? Uh-oh.
What's going on? Oh, we got him.
Hello.
Yeah, you're there.
Keaton 4.
Hey, you hear how that clicked? I don't want to hear that click on the show anymore.
Yeah.
No.
I know. And I think it was yesterday. We had Pat on yesterday, right? Yeah. I always try to get him like the thanks, Pat.
But all you got to do,
just
all you got to do, turn their mic down when they're done.
I know that's
If you turn their mic down.
But sometimes he'll legitimately beat me to it, and I'll be like, "Damn."
If you were counting us down, that's why it happened.
But yeah.
That's what I'm saying. When it gets to the top of the hour, just take their mic off. As soon as we're done with them, just take their mic off. Then you never have to worry about it.
Maybe I should look into cybernetics. Get like 3 extra arms. Just attach them to my hip.
We're not asking for extra arms. We're asking you to pot a microphone down.
I'm just
gotta-
kidding.
Okay,
Well, not only that, you don't need, you could just hit the button, turn it off. And you can do that and then put your hands up. I mean, we know what we're asking. It's not hard. By the way, how about this pitch? Last pitch of the night. 0-2 straight change.
This was dirty.
Yeah. Okay. Look at him walk off like I will.
He's a
I'll
I'm
get
him.
all of you out.
I'm him.
All of you.
I could watch Scherzer pitch against
Yes.
Verlander every night.
Yep.
Totally.
I am him.
Scherzer's like, you want me to go back out there? How many
That
innings
bum.
you need me to pitch tonight? I
Yeah.
will get you all out.
And you have this bum.
Then there's this guy.
This Yahoo.
Good buck snort.
Definitely. Oh, that was a good one there.
I will say I think Jerry West's character says the F word the most in the show. 100%.
Hey, just out of curiosity, if you want, this guy's a big Lightning fan.
Okay.
So if we want just before Bucs,
Yeah.
hey, just curious here.
Good.
We've been,
Yeah.
throw that in underhanded to get him going because we've got the long interview time. So in the for what it's worth category.
My buddy who texted yesterday when Felipe went, no offense. Okay. Said, hey, Jerry West, turn it off. No offense.
I do like the 38. I know, but I know it's the exact time. I love doing the show prep. 7:38. We're having them. What time are we having that guy? 7:38.
Hey.
No. But when
that's done for. That's for him.
Oh. No. But I mean, it's.
Oh yeah.
When I type
right.
the thing, no.
Yeah.
No. It's not a complaint.
So when you put it out, you go.
If you look at this, it's like I do 7:38 Yarcho, 8 o'clock Daniel Kelly, 8:38 Seth. That no.
Right.
That's when
I like when.
We're good. We're coming back now.
Okay.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
"22 minutes before the hour. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network. Thanks so much for being with us. Daniel Kelly, who covers the Jets for Sports Illustrated. They've got 4 of the top 38 picks in the draft, including picks 4 and 10. We will talk to him about what the Jets are going to do coming up in a bit. Seth Everett, 1 hour from now. It's a pleasure to welcome back James Yarcho, BucsNation.com, co-host of the Locked on Bucs podcast. Follow James on Twitter, JYarcho_Bucs, the letter J, Yarcho, YARCHO _Bucs. James, it's David and Mark once again. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Well, we're good. Before we get to the Bucs, we noticed you're a big Lightning fan. We asked in the first hour of the show, on the concerned meter of 1 to 10, where should we now be concerning the Lightning?
6.
All right.
I'm a little higher than you.
Yeah, just slightly concerned, but these are a group of guys that they know how to win. They know how to turn it on, and the playoffs are a different animal. So, you have the Florida Panthers, who are just an absolute buzzsaw, but they don't have the postseason success. You have Toronto, who's notorious at choking. So
right.
All it takes is a couple of games, and you can get hot, and off you go through the Stanley Cup playoffs. So I'm not panicking yet, but they're not looking great right now.
No, they are not, particularly against teams in the East that are in the postseason. And I know you're a hockey fan. We wanted to start there with you. The Bucs at pick 27 with a team like Detroit. And I don't know if 27 will be there to get the quarterback, but 32 and 34. Do the Tampa Bay Bucs want to trade out of that spot? Do you think they're going to stand pat? At the end of the day, what does Tampa want to do with 27?
I think it really depends on how the board falls, right? If they see guys like Devontae Wyatt and Zion Johnson and maybe even Jahan Dotson or Khair Elam off the board when it's their pick, a guy that they really fall in love with, they might want to move back a little bit and maybe make a trade with the Detroit Lions, who could move up those 5 spots and maybe prevent Seattle from jumping them, maybe at 31 with the Cincinnati Bengals, to go after one of those quarterbacks that are going to slow down, that can sit and develop and kind of get ready for the NFL game. But with the Buccaneers picking so late, it's so hard to tell what's going to happen, because we know the draft night is always full of surprises. There's going to be a run on positions. Teams are going to start to shift around. But I think with the situation that the Buccaneers are in, they can stand pat and take probably the best player available, and it's going to be someone that's going to come in and be able to have a positive impact on their season.
A couple years ago, they needed a plug-and-play tackle. Granted, they were drafting in the mid-teens there, and they went up one spot. They made sure they got their plug-and-play tackle. A year ago, the thought was, hey, we're bringing all the starters back. We don't need a plug-and-play guy. Do they need a plug-and-play guy at a position this year, James?
I think they do. I think they need a guy who can come in and have just an immediate impact, because as we saw last year, yeah, it was great. They brought back all the starters, but that also meant that they didn't improve anywhere, right? So when you just kind of stay the course, you're not improving, which means you're actually getting worse, because the rest of the league is upgrading around their roster. So if they have someone like a Devontae Wyatt who can come in and line up next to Vita Vea, that would be fantastic. Even with the questions around Chris Godwin's ACL recovery, he may not be ready to start the season. So you could get I don't know if Treylon Burks is going to fall. He's starting to get a lot of love and move back up the board. But you could get a receiver, and all of a sudden, now you don't have the problem that you had last year when Chris Godwin went down, when Antonio Brown left, and you're forced to have guys like Cyril Grayson and Rashad Perryman be your guys next to Mike Evans. You can get a Jahan Dotson. You can get a Sky Moore, who's just he's so quick and so fast and so athletic that, you get another weapon for Tom Brady, and you provide that depth at a position where we thought there was a lot of depth, and it turned out there wasn't. So they have to find someone early that is going to make an immediate impact.
Well, and Mark, James brought up an interesting topic there. If by chance the Bucs at 27 go receiver, it could break Green Bay and Kansas City's hearts, like maybe a Christian Watson from North Dakota State. The Packers have been linked to him a lot. I think they'd prefer to get him at 28 than 22, and you wonder if Tampa could break their hearts and take him at 27.
Well, and the other side of it too, I mean, do one of the receivers that was banged up and the Alabama or the USC guy, I don't think they ever dropped that far, but the possibility exists. I don't think Tampa would Tampa go after somebody that was injured, though, based on what you just talked about with Godwin coming off of the injury. Doesn't seem like a direction Tampa would want to go, but you might not be able to deny the talent if it's there.
Yeah, that's another sticky situation, right? So I don't think Jamison Williams from Alabama falls. I don't think Drake London falls. And I have seen some people talk about the possibility of Ojabo out of Michigan, who suffered the injury at his pro day. And you can't deny the talent that he has and what a wrecking ball he can be, but that's really not a position that's going to help them right now. Obviously, Jason Pierre-Paul, still a free agent. He may not be coming back. So you might want that depth at the edge rusher position to rotate in with Shaq Barrett and Joe Tryon-Shoyinka. But it has to be somebody. If this is a Super Bowl or bust season, Tom Brady, there's been no extension. There's been no talks of extension. This is Super Bowl or nothing. You have to have somebody that's going to contribute right out of the gate and someone that's going to help them win a Lombardi trophy.
James Yarcho, BucsNation.com, also co-host of the Locked on Bucs podcast. Follow James on Twitter, JYarcho_Bucs, JYarcho_Bucs. Do you think most teams are trying not to trade 2023 picks for 2022 picks because next year's draft is seen as better? But since the Bucs are clearly going 1 year at a time, and one, I think right now would have to assume that this is Brady's final year, do you think the Bucs potentially could be one of the rare teams that would trade a 2023 pick to move up and get a better 2022 pick?
I would say it's certainly not out of the question. We've seen Jason Light make moves throughout the draft, all the years that he's been GM, where he has given up future picks to move up. He may try to gain future picks by moving down, might try to get back a fifth or a sixth rounder by shuffling around a little bit, especially on day 2. But you nailed it. It's an all or nothing season for them. So if they have to, give up assets from next year's draft for an asset this year, that's something that they're definitely going to look at and they're going to take into consideration. So it's one of those situations where they can worry about next year. This year they have to win.
Are you even surprised that there are stories about a Brady contract extension? I mean, like you just said, this is 1 year at a time. I'm a little miffed that we're even worried about 2023 and Tom Brady. Are you?
Not really. If anything, I figured that if an extension for Brady came, it would be more along the lines of just trying to get some cap relief than anything else. Not necessarily a guarantee that he would return in 2023, but just to help make sure that they can put the best team possible on the field by giving them some extra money under the salary cap. I would, given Tom Brady's comments yesterday in ESPN, I would be a little bit surprised if Tom Brady comes back next year to play, whether it's for the Bucs or for anybody else. Sounds like he understands that he's at the end of the road, and he's always said, when I suck, I'll retire. Well, he's still one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and he may be able to go another 5-6 years physically, but it's a matter of, does he want to reach the point that we saw with Peyton Manning or with Drew Brees, where he holds on 1 year too long and all of a sudden it's not there anymore? I don't think Brady is the kind of person that wants to do that. He wants to, obviously he wants to go out on top, but I don't think he wants people to see him begin to deteriorate on the field.
How do they feel about Kyle Trask? Because, James, if I was Jason Light, Baker Mayfield would interest me, because I think Cleveland, I can get him to pick up most of his salary, because otherwise they're going to be on the hooks for all of it anyway. And I could bring in Baker Mayfield for maybe $3 million and give up a day 3 draft pick and then kick the tires with him for a year. And who knows, he may be the guy in 2023. I'm not comfortable, if I'm running the Bucs, with my backup quarterback situation, fighting for seeding and fighting for a championship. If something at all happens to Brady, we're completely kaput. And that's not the situation you want to be in. Am I off base?
Not at all. And in fact, I agree with you 100%. Baker Mayfield, he's a pretty good quarterback. And, this is a guy that he played injured last year when he shouldn't have. And I think it was the mentality of, I'm the leader. I need to be out here to help my football team. I'm going to battle through whatever I have to be out there for my guys. And it wasn't good. He should have taken the time off. He would have helped his team more by recovering than trying to play through it. But this is a guy with playoff experience, a huge playoff win against a division rival in the Pittsburgh Steelers 2 years ago. He's fiery. He's a lot of fun. And I think if the Buccaneers can get him on the cheap, or by giving up one of those future 2023 draft picks that you just mentioned, I would be in favor of Baker Mayfield coming in. And I don't think he would feel slighted or be upset if he had to sit behind Tom Brady for a year, knowing he's the guy. And he's set up with an offense that has Chris Godwin and Mike Evans and Leonard Fournette for the next couple of years, and has a fantastic offensive line and has a young and incredibly talented defense. He knows he'd be walking into a playoff situation, and maybe on the way he can learn a couple things from the greatest to ever do it and try to keep the Buccaneers in Super Bowl contention for the next few years beyond the Brady era. So I would actually be really excited if the Bucs were able to make a move for Baker Mayfield, but I'm not sure that's ultimately something that's going to end up happening. I think if Baker Mayfield gets traded, it won't be until after the draft weekend. So you're obviously then looking at 2023 compensation, but it's weird in the sense of how much control will Baker have? Are the Browns going to dig their heels in? And is Cleveland going to facilitate a move for him to be a starter immediately?
James, we appreciate your time and your insight. And if it's not before the draft, hopefully we can catch up afterwards.
Absolutely. Always a pleasure.
James Yarcho, BucsNation.com, BucsNation.com. Also follow him on Twitter, the letter J, Yarcho_Bucs, and he co-hosts the Locked on Bucs podcast. Bucs have 6 picks. They have a first, a second, a third, a fourth, and 2 7ths. So the likelihood is they'd have to give it, because I can't imagine they'd want to give up any of their first, second, third, or fourths for Baker. They'd probably give up a 2023 pick.
Probably a 3.
I think that's high. I don't see how the Browns have any leverage.
Okay, so a 4.
I think that's the best Cleveland could do.
Because you got to add, and I'm just going with the add around. I was thinking 4. If it's next year, it's a 3.
Right.
That's all.
If I'm Tampa, I'm offering a 2023 5th rounder. And I may even give you one of my 7th rounders this year. And I would do it. And by the way, I'll pick up $3 million. You pick up the 16.
Well, and I think that's going to be the sticking point with this at the end of the day, is how much money each team's going to eat. And Carolina appears to be the leader in the clubhouse. And I don't know if it's because of the money or it's because of the compensation.
I know I threw this out there yesterday, but if I'm Arizona, I may play hardball with Kyler Murray. You want to sit out? Fine. I'll make a deal for Baker Mayfield. You sit your you-know-what home all you want. Honestly, we ain't playing around, man. You haven't won anything. You haven't done squat. He's done more than you, by the way.
Yes, he has.
For the record, he's done more than you. We ain't playing this game. Do something. Win something. Then you can hold out.
David, I have some somewhat breaking news. Our increase for the draft show is now at $150 gas and food times 2.
Whoa! Whoa! Live draft show, Miller and Moulton Twitch channel. The bidding is underway. David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters.
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, The Training Grove. With a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, The Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with The Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial and use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today.
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, The Training Grove. With a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, the Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with the Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial and use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Watch out for Durant tonight.
Oh,
First off,
he's having 40.
They will not be able to manhandle
No.
them the way they manhandled them in game one.
No.
You know the officiating will be tighter.
Right.
And he doesn't have 2 bad games in a row.
What's his line on points?
I don't know, but I bet the over.
Over. Smashing that over.
3,200 people in attendance for the Oakland A's last night.
That is insane.
3,200. No, I'm sorry. 3,748. Felipe, it was, I don't know. It was our first act. And I was more serious about it than Mark, but we were pretty serious. Was it the Marlins?
Oh, Marlins.
In which we said the Marlins could play their Monday through Thursday games at Hammond Stadium.
Yeah.
And draw more people than they were drawing in Miami.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a very good point.
And the fact that our thing was that they should. Like when they have a 3-game series, if it's Monday through Wednesday or a Tuesday through Thursday, they should literally just, you know what, play the Friday through Sunday games in Miami, and you can play the other games here.
See, if Fort Myers and Hammond Stadium wasn't on the other coast of Florida, I would say yes.
No. Well, first off, no offense. The Marlins don't have any fans. So I'm just talking about people in this market
I'm not talking
who would go. There would be more people go see the Marlins play from this market if the game were here than go see them in their market.
right, but I'm talking about the players. The players are not going to want to do that.
Well,
No, obviously. But I'm just saying
It
that
would be cool though.
the franchise was struggling that much.
Yeah.
And the one thing
he's
Jeter,
something. All risk. He's something.
and the one thing Jeter did early in his tenure was he didn't pad attendance at all. He made sure to announce exact figures. He wanted people to know how few people were coming to the games.
God.
You know,
God, I loved Art Clarkson, the old owner of the Birmingham Bulls, would walk up to me for the attendance was. So he was the GM. He'd walk up to me, have his thumb under the announced, then he'd show me the number what's in the building every night.
How much?
1,200.
It was about 1,200. Was it pad or that's how many tickets were sold,
Tickets
but they
sold.
didn't show?
He'd look at me and he'd go, tickets sold, asses in seats, while I was on the air. Art Clarkson, one of the all-time greats. God,
So-
I loved that man. I should have worked for him.
so how often does do the Blades sell out? But like every single seat is filled with an ass.
Never.
Well, apparently this past weekend they did.
Really?
But even when they're sold out, there's still 1,000. When I was there, we sold out, 70 some straight games, and we would get over the number because we'd sell so many standing room tickets. We could sell 8,000 tickets and not put 7,000 people in there. And we tried.
Mm-hmm.
$15 seconds. I'm calling him now.
Damn right, Char.
Oh, my buddy is friends with Chris Quinn, who's one of the assistants for Miami. He's trying to get him for us.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network. Thanks so much for being with us in what is, well, the final hour of our show in Lake City and surrounding areas, Tampa, St. Pete, and on 1070 The Zone in Port Charlotte all the way up until Venice. For those of you in the 239, you know we are just halfway home on this hump day, 420, and that's the focus of our poll question. Don't be scared. But it is the focus of our poll question.
It is. It's a very simple question. Celebration of 420. What will be legal in Florida first, recreational weed or legalized sports gambling? Right now, 6 of 10 of you say legalized gambling, which is what both Miller and Moulton say as well. I may have surprised some people with my vote, but I do think it will be legalized gambling at the end of the day. Close.
Yeah, we just think the politics involved that gambling will get through in this state before the legalization of recreational weed. That's all. But that's our poll question. At that Mark Miller, at the David Moulton, at FL Sports Network, and FloridaSportsNetwork.com.
By the way, I did see on Twitter this morning, your home state of Jersey legalized recreational weed today. Little 420 gift for those Jersey folks. That's what they need.
Well, listen. All right. If you got to put up with those taxes and all the mask mandates, right, that might be a good move by the governor and the state assembly there. Daniel Kelly is kind enough to join us. He covers the Jets for Sports Illustrated. He's also author of the book of Whatever It Takes. Whatever It Takes. You can follow Daniel on Twitter at Daniel Kelly Book. Daniel Kelly Book. Daniel, it's David and Mark. Thanks for your time this morning. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing really well, guys. Thanks for having me on the show today.
All right. Is this the most important draft that the Jets have had in, I don't know, 30 years? I mean, come on, Daniel. They're losing ground in the division. They got 4 of the top 38. They need so much help. It just seems to me, Daniel, as if Joe Douglas has got to nail the first 2 days of this draft.
Absolutely. Right on head there. This is a pivotal draft for Joe Douglas and also Robert Saleh. It is the most pivotal draft probably in 30 years that the Jets have had. I mean, I think that if they don't hit this, they're both going to be looking at Black Monday and hearing their names called next year.
Well, let's look at the first pick overall. I've seen a lot of different play. I see both the linemen going 1 and 2. I just look at someone like Thibodeau. If he ends up at 4 for the Jets, is that worse? I mean, I know they need an edge rusher. I get it. But the guy who's got the most questions about him, is that a best case scenario or is that the worst case scenario in your eyes?
I think it's the best case scenario. I mean, there's no question. I mean, if you look back at the San Francisco 49ers when Robert Saleh was out there, I mean, his entire defense, the complexion of his defense changed once he got Nick Bosa out there. And I think that the Jets have to have an edge rusher, somebody who's extremely disruptive. Kayvon Thibodeau is extremely disruptive. They can move him around. He's a guy that opposing offenses always have to be aware of where he's lining up. He's a guy that has brute power. He's also a guy that has that coveted short area burst into the pocket. They do something like that because right now they're just not getting the heat on the quarterback. And without getting heat on the quarterback, Robert Saleh's defense does not work, which was proven in San Francisco before the arrival of Nick Bosa.
Talking Jets with Daniel Kelly, who used to work for the Jets as a scout. Now he covers them for Sports Illustrated, and he's author of the book, Whatever It Takes. And you can follow Daniel on Twitter at Daniel Kelly Book. All right, let's just say Hutchinson and Thibodeau go 1-2. If you're the Jets, is your preference Trayvon Walker, the defensive lineman from Georgia? Or at that point, if those two ends that I mentioned go, are you taking the best tackle on the board?
Well, actually, I'd probably go a different direction with all due respect. I think that in today's game, this has become a very pass-happy league where you have to do one or two things on defense. You have to either get to the quarterback like we were describing, or you have to be able to cover the pass. And if both of those guys are gone on defense, I look at a guy like Ahmad Gardner, Sauce Gardner out of Cincinnati, as being a very viable option at number 4. Sauce Gardner, to me, is the best corner I've seen come into this league since Champ Bailey. Reminds me a lot of Champ. In fact, this is a true shutdown, lockdown corner that you can just put on an island by himself and throw away the key. And I think that's going to be very important for the Jets defense if they can't get a difference-making pass rusher to go with a corner like Sauce Gardner. When you look at this AFC East, and the type of firepower and the type of receivers that are now playing in this division, it's with Stephon Diggs up in Buffalo. Now you got Tyreek Hill down in Miami. They have to do something. I was a huge advocate for the Jets to sign J.C. Jackson from New England in free agency. They failed to do that. So I think that it's either going to be him, or I would have a shocker there, a surprise. Even I would talk about Nakobe Dean, to me, who's the most phenomenal pass coverage inside linebacker I've seen in the 40 years I've been around the game. And he's a guy that can also get to the quarterback. He can change the complexion of the defense. I have him mocked for SI Jets to go 5 to the Giants, which is the highest in the country. I just think schematically, if you have a guy like Nakobe Dean, it just gives the defensive coordinator so much of an advantage because those guys can come from the inside against the interior of the guards in the center. Outside of that, it's the name of the game is offensive firepower. But I am not a Trayvon Walker fan whatsoever. I have him mocked as a round defensive tackle. I don't think he has the moves or the speed to bend the edge in the National Football League.
All right. Obviously, we know the Jets wanted Hill. They didn't get him. Do you expect them, or will they make a strong move to pick up whether it's Brown, whether it's Samuel? Is that the area for receiver? Because where their picks are, I don't know if they're going to be picking receiver 4 or 10. It's possible at 10. But are they more likely, in your estimation, to go out and get a receiver and try to trade for one or draft one? Or both?
I think it's going to. Yeah, it very well could be. I mean, they need all the help they can get for Zach Wilson. They need receivers that actually can fit what Zach Wilson does best, and also what fits his weaknesses. Zach Wilson's a right downfield thrower as far as ball placement is concerned. They need receivers with big catch radiuses. They need receivers that can catch those short passes, those wide receiver bubble screens. And can pick up yardage after the catch, ideally. I just keep looking at this intriguing Deebo Samuel possibility. I broke a story back on April 11th about it on SI Jets. I can really see Samuel being dealt more and more by the day to the Jets, especially given the relationship that Robert Saleh has with Kyle Shanahan now in San Francisco. This business, this National Football League is built on relationships, and often these guys do business with the people they're most familiar with. And as we can see, Deebo Samuel, where there's smoke, there's fire, that situation is progressing by the day. And it's looking more and more likely. His brother came out last night on Facebook saying, I think something to the effect of, he wants to trade, and he came back and said he didn't. But I just can see somebody the Jets have talked about it for a while. There's been rumors that they've been willing to deal. Joe Douglas has been willing to deal the 10th pick overall for a veteran if possible. Deebo Samuel would give them a huge win. He's a guy that does all the things that Zach Wilson, he would play to his strengths. And most importantly, he played to his weaknesses. And what a tremendous loss that would be for the San Francisco 49ers. That would really set back their program, but it'd be a huge win for the New York Jets.
So if you were making the decision and you got to give up number 10 and probably more to get Samuel, or you hang tight at 10 and take like a Jamison Williams or whoever it is you think's the best receiver in the draft, you would go with the veteran who's going to cost you $15 million more a year for 3 years minimum than drafting Jamison Williams. You would make the deal.
I would, as an aspiring general manager myself in the NFL. Deebo Samuel, I gave him an A grade. He's a true difference maker, game-changing type of player. a guy that I mean, they even invented a position for him, called the wide back. The guy can run the ball from the backfield. He can catch the ball. He can pick up yardage after the catch. And most importantly, he loves the game, and it shows on game film week in and week out. I think he's, kind of proven the doubters and the critics, that they talk about his injuries wrong. He proved himself to be more durable last year. This would be a game-changing moment for the New York Jets. They haven't had a receiver like this, a game-changing receiver like this since back when I was there, with Keyshawn Johnson and those type of guys. I mean, this is a guy who would love the bright lights and somebody I would absolutely make that deal for. If it wouldn't be for Deebo Samuel, if he just doesn't want to be traded or something else happens, Garrett Wilson would be that guy for me out of Ohio State. He's a guy that can, catch those short passes. He's a threat, a home run threat from any route level on the field, from the short, intermediate, or deep route level. But they've got to come away with somebody like this. I mean, Joe Douglas has signed 2 tight ends in free agency. If they don't do something to bring in some true and real and legitimate offensive firepower, they might as well buy a ticket for the basement of the AFC East going forward.
Daniel Kelly covers the Jets for Sports Illustrated, author of the book, Whatever It Takes. Follow him on Twitter at Daniel Kelly Book, Daniel Kelly Book. Daniel, thanks for doing this. Hopefully we can talk right after the draft.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on today, guys. And everybody enjoy the draft.
Daniel Kelly, kind enough to join us here on Miller and Moulton. I would not do the Deebo Samuel trade, and it has nothing to do with Deebo Samuel. It has to do with, I don't think the Jets are close.
I'm with you 100%, David. That's what I was thinking the whole time. To give up this year's draft capital, some of next year's draft capital, when you're a last place team in a division, and I don't think you're close to third. Like, that's the problem. Put it this way. Do the Jets draft in the top 10 next year? Because I say yes.
I say yes as well.
Then you can't make that move if that's the case.
Joe Doug, this is where you start wondering, if you're a general manager, are you doing things to save your job? Or are you doing, the other reason is that if, let's just say it's Jameson Williams at 10, you're going to save $15 million a year for the next 3-4 years. That's serious coin. That makes you a player in free agency going forward. It makes you a player now. You can get Jarvis Landry and Jameson Williams and not give up any of the draft picks that you have to give up to get Deebo Samuel, if you're desperate to bring in a veteran receiver.
And they're probably going to want one of those second-round picks as well, perhaps. And if there's only, by Pat's estimation yesterday, 10, 12 first-round grades, then to me, 34 and 38 or whatever it is early in the second round, those are valuable, important picks that they need.
The thought about going Sauce Gardner at 4 is he doesn't make it to 10, because the Giants will take him at either 5 or 7. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network.
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, The Training Grove. With a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, The Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with The Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial and use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Couldn't type it fast enough.
Nope.
But this is what I'm telling you about these texts. This text, how the heck are you? Question, why would the world with any free age and years tore CLs in their right mind? It goes in a different. So you literally have to look at them and go, what's the order of this?
Right.
And I don't know why it does that.
Do you think it has a limit on the characters?
It must, but it doesn't make any sense because
Right, I agree. Oh, Yinzer, I think you should feel it. All right. And if not for you, so do you have to pay the PSL?
it's not that expensive though.
Now, is this a yearly thing?
No, it's a one-time thing. The tickets aren't bad. That's what I said. I mean, I'm not even trying Yinzer to, like, we've got ours now. I'm not even trying, like with the Bucs, I was doing it to make money. With the Steelers, I'm not even, doing it. I just want to break even. Let my wife go to a game with her mom once a year. I got about 10 friends that are big Steelers fans, offer them all up to them and tell them they got to play a VIG. They're paying the preseason. That's what the PSL is, $5.
So I got an email from the Gators about season tickets. And just for the hell of it, I, took a look. And because the cheapest tickets, upper deck, end zone, if you're looking at the game on television, it'd be to your right on the TV screen, that end zone. And the tickets are pretty affordable, but you have to make, I think it's $500 donation per ticket.
Per year.
Right.
Thanks for the follow, Joe.
Hey! Adam, would you go with that? You want Deebo Samuel? You got to give the Niners your first round pick next year, which you've picked number 1 2 years in a row now, and you'd have to give up your second rounder this year. Oh, Hops, we're not doing well enough. I'm winning this bet unless we have a big draft. Big.
I need
100.
I was going to say 80.
It's by July 4th, right?
Yinzer, is the shady side a good thing or a bad thing in Pittsburgh? Yes. Like, I'm not being smart. Like, the shady side at Tampa is a good thing. The shady side in Pittsburgh, that's cold, right? I mean, that's...
Oh. How you doing over there? You going to stay awake on us?
I'm awake.
I understand. It just, we have to take inventory during the show. I mean, the head see, when you start looking at your phone, A, we can't see if your eyes are open, but also B, your head goes down. So you're already beginning the motion. I mean, we've watched you
Whenever
fall asleep.
I think this was a good addition. I brought my iPad and I have the Twitch stream here.
Right.
And it just magnetically sticks. So it's like
right there.
Secure on there.
Okay.
So I can just.
So it keeps you more alert?
Yeah.
All right. Short segment here. You got anything?
Well, rankings.
Are we doing it? Okay. This is either a best of segment or this is we're going to lose
the final segment we ever do. We lose an affiliate.
We're going to lose 7 followers and 2 affiliates. Here we go. I recommend that we give a warning and that you try to come up with synonyms.
I will.
Okay. and have as much fun as you want with the synonyms.
All right, here we go.
Thanks for listening. And now, more of Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes after the hour. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network. Seth Everett in a little more than 15 minutes. Just 10 minutes away if you're watching and following on the Miller and Moulton Twitch.tv channel, because Seth joins us during the break. Our poll question on this April 20th. What will be legal in Florida first? Recreational marijuana use, widespread sports gambling.
And David and I both think sports gambling, for the record.
And we think it'll be next year. The earliest, right around March Madness. I think it's more likely to happen in time for football next year.
David, I have sat on this story for a couple of days now.
Well, we didn't do a show Monday, and I wouldn't let you do the story yesterday. I felt we needed to get back on the air. We need to reestablish things, see whether or not we've gained any followers, lost any followers, gained any affiliates, lost any affiliates.
But rankings of any sort, lists, rankings, they're
Right.
important, David.
Right. Here we go, folks. Here we go. Here's a disclaimer. You got kids in the car. You know, you may have to take you may have to take the rest of the segment off.
It's a science experiment.
Well, okay, sure it's not a biology experiment?
It might be. Or
Okay.
an anatomy
All right.
lesson. Either way, but according to this study,
Okay, here we go, folks. Here we go.
We cracked the top 60, David.
Who's we?
American men.
American men in worldwide?
Worldwide. We're number 59.
Number 59.
Yep.
Huh. Is this like a radio television market here?
Kind of.
We're Buffalo?
Well, maybe bigger. Let me explain.
Okay.
A poll of 86 nations.
Wait, we're only 59 out of 86?
As my friend Bobby Regan from Barstool said, we made the tourney, David. That's all we can ask for. Anything can happen at that point.
We're like a Sun Belt at large here.
Yes. We ranked 59th as far as length of the Johnson is concerned.
Whoa, wait, what's this list?
This is a list
Wait,
of men's you-know-what.
wait. What is the methodology behind this list? I really want to know. And what's the margin of error? 3 what?
That's a great point. But apparently, if you're average in America, you measure out at 3.35 inches. I'm sorry, 5.35 inches. 5.35 inches is the average length here in America.
Of
Yes.
of cucumbers?
Yeah.
Carrots? What? What?
Speak for yourself.
Produce is what we're talking
Right.
here, right?
Right.
All right. Okay.
As it was stated in Animal House, mine's bigger. My cucumber is bigger than.
Okay.
For the
Right.
record, women, I will let you know that Ecuadorian men, it's where it's at.
Really? South America?
6.95 inches.
Oh, that's a big discrepancy. That's a big difference.
You're
in,
darn right it
you
is.
know, when you're kind of, putting your hands through the cucumbers there, the one's clearly bigger than the other.
If you want to make yourself feel better,
Oh, for goodness sake.
I would shower in Cambodia
Cambodia.
at 3.95 inches, came in last.
Huh. Once again, how in the world was this survey done? That's what I want to
An
know.
online pharmacy analyzed Google data from 86 countries to come up with the findings.
What do you mean Google data?
I'm guessing they went through a bunch of picks. I don't know what to tell you.
What the? First off, 59th out of 86. That's not.
No, France beats us, and they don't beat us in anything.
Come on. No way.
We get beat by Australia. We did beat the UK, though, narrowly.
Well, that's not surprising.
So, in case you were wondering, we have made it to the top 60.
And by the way, if you were wondering, we need to talk. I mean, of all the things that your mind wanders about, did your mind ever wander about this?
Seriously?
Really? How it is that you feel that you rank worldwide? You know, I was sitting around the other day, Joe, and I was wondering, how do you think we stack up?
What I'd like out of our audience today is for those of you without children to bring this up at the dinner table tonight. And just let everybody know that you're top 60.
Or let the kids finally do what they want to do, which is take their food and eat it in their rooms.
The other side of this, if your wife's planning a trip to Ecuador, I would seriously question your relationship.
I would be concerned. Either that or you need to then schedule a trip to Cambodia to feel better about yourself. Wow.
This segment brought to you by the male enhancement pills of North America.
Oh, man. Boy. Can I ask a question? Just, where did you find said list?
Barstool. Where else would I find it?
Okay. I just wondering. I think it's a fair question, all things considered.
Bobby Regan retweeted a story from Barstool and merely put on there, "We're in the tournament. Anything can happen." And I lost it when I read it on Friday, and I said, we are going to save this for the show.
Anything can happen.
Just got to get in.
Well, on Saturday nights, right?
Right.
Anything can happen.
If you're in the tournament, you're in the tournament, David.
That's true. So you're saying there's a chance. Got it.
Whole new definition for buzzer beater.
I am curious how men are going to bring this up at the dinner table. I'm curious how they're going to bring it up. So,
I brought the yardstick out today.
So the guy gets in the car with the significant other in their life, and they're driving to wherever it is they're going, and they go,
honey, ever been to Ecuador?
I was listening to those two yahoos in the morning, and they brought up a story. And while I'm at it, are you traveling anytime soon?
I hear you and the girlfriends are scheduling a vacation. Where are you going? Cambodia or Ecuador?
You guys can't do that girls' weekend in Ecuador, all right? I'm drawing the line there. You can go to Mardi Gras, you can go to Vegas, something more tame.
But just stay away from Ecuador, right?
But a 4-day getaway in Ecuador is out of the question.
All I'm thinking is the Eddie Murphy bit talking about cheating on his girlfriend and the girlfriend going on vacation and the microphone down the back right now. That's
right.
It's really all that's in my head.
Oh, boy. Look it up. Look it up. Nearly 40 years old is that routine. And let me tell you, it ages well. Miller and Moulton. Can't wait for the text line in the middle of the night, Mark. You're the one that likes to go upstairs to the spare room where you've got your office set up and just read the text line. Can't wait for the late afternoon, early and mid-evening texts that roll in.
I have a Brazilian man wants to know where he ranked. All he says is South America, baby. LFGGGGG.
Oh, boy. I just want to know how the conversation's even going to be brought up. Honey, I was listening. Those two guys that whenever you hear their voices in the car, you immediately turn the radio off? Yeah, I was listening to them this morning. It's going to be quite something.
This texter says, well, it's time to tell the therapist I can stop worrying about her new boyfriend. I now have a whole new world to think about.
Yeah, so you're glad you got
59
out of 86. Come on, we're a Conference USA school, for goodness sakes.
You might be.
Well,
I felt this good about myself ever.
Well, I used to be.
Miller and Moulton. Your Conference USA.
Right. Never been so happy to have Seth Everett coming up Next, Miller and Moulton. See how many affiliates we lose here on the Florida Sports Network.
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, The Training Grove. With a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, The Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with The Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial and use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
I miss anybody?
Hmm?
Streaming services that have sports.
Peacock,
Paramount,
Paramount.
Amazon, Apple, ESPN.
I don't think you have to pay for the Fox off yet. I don't.
Well, Fox doesn't have a streaming service, do they?
It's Tubi.
And they got the Fox Go
It's
app.
Tubi.
Tubi is the Fox owned.
Got it.
TUBE?
TUBI.
Is that sports?
No.
Right.
It's a streaming service that Fox owns. All the Fox linear networks are on there.
Right.
What if I were to get it, Seth? If like the now the Bally's or the the regional cable, are they under any one? Are they all their own? They're all their own umbrella.
No, that's the fight. Yeah, that's the whole thing. There is a streaming service, a live TV streaming service called Fubo that has a lot of these RSNs, but they don't have anything else. So, like, you wouldn't pay $70 for Fubo to see the MSG network.
I'm trying to figure this out because my big dilemma is going to be getting the Big Ten network on some sort of app. And Seth, it's because my wife watched gymnastics. I literally
Is it Hulu Live has Big Ten? I think.
Does it?
I can't testify to that, but I could look. If you
Well,
want,
I've
I can
got
look
one more
real
year.
fast.
I'm just curious. We were just talking about it yesterday. We're going to get into this whole, the Sunday ticket and streaming and that stuff from
Something TechStream covered months ago.
Well, there you go.
That's why we have you on.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's not for baseball.
That's not why. Shush. B. Yeah, Big Ten Network is on Hulu Live.
Okay.
We have that.
Is that your live source, Hulu?
Yes.
And you get all the networks on that?
Yes. Yep. Jerry West is really mad about winning time.
Boy, is he. Boy, is he.
It's not a documentary.
Although,
Kareem is mad too.
yes, he is.
Too bad. It's a great show.
Although, it is a fair thing to bring up if we were portrayed in a way that we felt was inaccurate and unfair. How would we handle it?
When they do the biopic on Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, who plays you? Who do we get to play
Jimmy
you?
Kimmel, a young Jimmy Kimmel when he was fatter.
No,
we used to look a lot alike.
Not changing the subject, not connecting these two dots, but Michael Chiklis as Red Auerbach is perfect. It's perfect. The casting in this show is so good.
I thought they've done a great job from what little I have seen of making people look at least in the ballpark, if not better than that, of the people that they're playing.
There's a great scene of Pat Riley has this bushy long hair and they get into a fight and there's water. So now he's soaking wet and he goes in front of a mirror and he pushes all the hair back and he goes, It's tremendous. It's such a good show. If you're not a basketball fan, you still will love it.
That's what I noticed. And I've only seen the first 2 episodes. You don't have to know anything about basketball to find the show compelling.
It doesn't matter.
It's like you and I both watched that chess thing. It had nothing to do with chess. It was a great show.
Queen's Gambit was great.
Yeah, it was just amazing. You needed to know nothing about
this. Is like that. This is very similar to that. It's like you want to know where it goes, even though you know they win. It doesn't matter.
Right.
All right, we're coming back.
It's not a spoiler.
It's so good.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes before the hour, the home stretch for many of you. Listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network, the bonus hour for the 239 coming up at the top of the hour. Our buddy Seth Everett, and he is still our buddy. People were concerned because I was yelling at him last week. We are still buddies.
I took it like a man.
Buddies can do. They can yell at one another. Sports with Friends Hall of Justice text stream, his 3 great podcasts. You can follow Seth on Twitter at Seth_Everett. We're buddies, right?
We're good. You were wrong, but yeah, we're good.
Well, Seth, I know the text stream side of you has done these shows before, but yesterday and we had Friday and Monday off, and a lot of news came out in the last little bit about Apple seeming to be having a done deal with.
Why would you think I didn't know that you had Friday and Monday off? I listened.
I forgot we're buddies. we're apparently still really good, but
nice. Well played.
But Apple looks like it's a done deal getting the Sunday ticket. And our Twitch audience, our text audience, everybody, what am I going to do? What's going to happen? Now, Sunday ticket's still going to be on DirecTV for 1 year. But, Seth, how do you see this shaking out? Because there's a lot of factors in this. If it goes away completely from satellite television, there's a lot of the world that's not in high-speed internet. There's a lot of the country that's not high-speed internet. So how do you see the whole Apple Sunday ticket shaking out?
And just to be clear on what you're saying, it's not always an economic situation. There are very wealthy areas that do not have the infrastructure to get high-speed internet that's of the quality to make sure that these games look good on whatever television you're watching or device you're watching them on. That's a big problem. There's a potential class action lawsuit from a union made up of sports bar owners. I don't know what the group is called, but they are talking about suing the NFL to require that DirecTV have the service, even at a higher price point, to make sure that sports bars across the country can still stream the NFL Sunday ticket. It's It's a big issue if you can't stream it. Now, for the people who can stream it, it is so much cheaper than the DirecTV Sunday Ticket. You will be gushing at the possibilities of getting this on Apple. It's easier with an Apple device. If you don't have an Apple device, you can get a Roku device or a Amazon Fire Stick. An Amazon Fire Stick is $19. You can get those things. I think Apple TV is much better. The Apple TV service with high-speed internet is second to none. So if you have access to high-speed internet, just open your mind a little bit and get the service. And if you buy a device, if you buy any Apple device in the next year and a half, you'll get a year free of Apple TV Plus, because that's what they're trying to do. They're spending $2.5 billion just to get you to buy the iPhone. And a lot of these cell phone companies ask you to rent the iPhone. I rent my phone for $11 a month. And when I got that, I got not only a free subscription to Disney Plus, but a free subscription to Apple Plus for another 6 months. Just play the game. And these things are great. The NFL Sunday Ticket, last I checked, was over $300 a season. It will not even be close to that. It might be $50.
I don't know if we're buddies anymore, David. I feel like I'm being talked to by my father right now. I don't know about you.
I think it depends on how technologically challenged you are. Mark, I think you two are still buddies. I'm in a fetal position in the corner. So I'm going to pick myself up, dust myself off, and I'm going to ask some questions that I'm sure are going to be incredibly stupid.
The real issue is the places that can't get high-speed internet. That's a real issue.
All right, but how about this? I mean, Apple TV is doing this exclusive Friday Night Baseball thing.
Uh-huh.
Well, they've had some problems. Seth, let's be honest. I mean, we're talking Mets, Nats versus a Sunday Ticket audience. Now, I know they got almost 18 months to work things out, but
they'll fix it. It's Apple.
But if you're having trouble with a Friday Night Baseball package with 21,000 people, what are you going to do when it's 4 million? And it's probably going to be a lot more than that.
Have you ever seen Apple release a product and go, "Nah, that's garbage"? Like, they never do it. In the history of this company, they have never done that. They will fix everything they need to fix. It's not going to be a problem. The real problem is the sports bar owner that does not have the bandwidth. And that's going to be a real issue. But to say that you're not going to have Apple TV is you can't get it because you don't know how. It's not that hard. It's not rocket science, and it's actually cleaner and cheaper and all those things than DirecTV.
Seth, do you think, and Mark and I talked about this, I thought it was on air, maybe it was off. And who knows, maybe you were involved as well. When the thought was that, okay, Thursday Night Football is moving to Amazon, that if we were Amazon, we would literally give the equipment to every single sports bar in America. And I mean every single one. What is it that you need? Here it is. And we would ship it to you. And here you go.
They're going to tout their Fire Stick, and the Fire Stick to me is less than superb.
All right.
Yeah, that's what Amazon does. They give you these Fire Sticks.
All right. But in a strange way, if you're Amazon and Apple, and I understand you compete, but when it comes to the NFL, I mean, come on, you're both going to make billions here. So, I mean, is there a way where you both kind of look at one another and go, listen, we need to take care of the sports bar problem? All right. And is there a way for them to almost combine forces and do it?
Well, what they're saying is that they know that the real problem is the infrastructure around the country with the high-speed internet. And I mean, I don't want to go down that dark path here, but the reality is if you don't fix that, it's never going to be 100% effective. What they're saying is these devices are possible. You know, what I have wondered is a sports bar that has 8 TVs. Let's just say a good sports bar has 8 TVs and they want 8 games at the same time. They need 8 different receivers, meaning Apple TV, Roku's, and things like that. That's a massive investment. What I would say is if the NFL Sunday ticket on DirecTV is $300 a season, make it $800 a season, but offer it. That's what I would do. That's if I'm the NFL, that's what I would do. At least for the first contract, I would say make it available. Don't give DirecTV exclusive, but let DirecTV offer it and let these businesses make the investment.
It's a fascinating point, Seth, because in the last 10 to 15 years, cable television or sports television, I'll just throw cable out. Sports television has eliminated the need to go to the sports bar to watch anything with the exception of 1 o'clock Eastern on Sundays. That's it. I don't care what any of you say. I know sports bar owners. Thursday Night Football, when it went off the NFL Network, Fox, killed the sports bar because there's people that didn't subscribe to the NFL Network. And every once in a while, you'd have to go catch that game, and bars made a ton. Nobody goes to the sports bar for Monday Night Football. The sports bar now exists for Sunday at 1. If they lose the sports bar here, I mean, they could, and the sports bars have made huge investments into all the receivers for the DirecTV infrastructure that they have now. You're telling these people to make another investment. So, Seth, to your point, I don't care what they charge because they charge by a per seat. It's not a per season for the DirecTV. Right. If they don't do something, they're going to kill an industry that's helped make their sport.
Well, but I think that's what's being resolved. I think now. I think that what's going to happen is the Sunday ticket entity that may or may not include a red zone channel. You know, DirecTV produces its own separate red zone channel. They may eliminate that, and I hope not because my buddy hosts it. But the idea would be is that the Sunday ticket entity would have some kind of other access. It's almost like when you go and everybody's watching something on a streaming service, but in the headquarters itself, it's on a closed circuit. The NFL needs to create that closed circuit, and there needs to be some kind of business pass or something like that. And if you're a billionaire and you're just stubborn and you want to buy the DirecTV version of the Sunday ticket, done. And what I would do is I would have DirecTV give a piece of that to Apple. You can work all these things into the contract, but the people you need to protect are business owners and places where you can't get high-speed internet.
He's Seth Everett. Sports with Friends, Hall of Justice, and TechStream are his 3 terrific podcasts. You can follow Seth on Twitter at Seth_Everett. We've established over the years I'm an idiot. And one of the reasons why, whether it was DirecTV or cable that I liked, is because in theory, I can go to one place, get all my channels. Well, now we have channels. We have the regional channels, and we have Peacock, Paramount, Amazon, Apple, ESPN Plus, YouTube TV, all with sports on it that in theory I can't get anywhere else. And I'm wondering, is there going to be 1 or 2 stop shopping for the idiots like me? Because Seth, you got to admit, I'm not alone here.
No.
But, a lot of people buy DirecTV and or cable for this reason.
I get it. Disney has a really sharp bundle where you can get Hulu, live Hulu, plus Disney Plus and ESPN Plus. That's a lot. That's a big chunk of what you're talking about. On ESPN Plus, you can get every out-of-market hockey game. Not a Tampa Bay Lightning game, but again, that's a separate segment. We've had that argument. It's ridiculous what is going on.
Absolutely.
But they're on that. They're going to fix that. That's going to get rectified in the next 5 years. The idea that it's all a la carte. For example, I just found out Showtime has a $3.99 a month for I think it's 4 months special. I signed up for Showtime. I watched the Cosby documentary. I'm going to watch Billions, but when it's over, I'm shutting it down. HBO Max is something that I subscribe to. Netflix I subscribe to, but Netflix is losing subscribers left and right, and they are going to crack down on sharing passwords, which is going to change a lot of people's situation. It's a work in progress, but to me, again, all I do is compare it to the cost of DirecTV. I had DirecTV. Now, if your cable bundle includes your high-speed internet, and so you get the television for like $12, which is what like Verizon and some of these places offer. Hey, I can't argue with that. Cutting the cord is not worth it. But the idea that you're in this situation and it's only going to be a la carte, which is what you've always wanted. You didn't want to pay $250 to DirecTV for HGTV unless you actually tuned into it.
And to Seth's point, what Xfinity is trying to do very well, I might add, is the ability to add all of these apps onto their programming. They're trying to keep you. They're trying to do exactly what Seth is talking about. Give you that bundle where you get your internet and your cable TV and maybe your television or your phone, whatever the case may be, but you can get to YouTube Live. I've many people who access our show. Why we do the show on YouTube and Twitch is because people in their living room can say Miller and Moulton on YouTube into the speaker and it comes up on your television.
That's cool.
That's what Verizon, that's what Xfinity are trying to do to keep us, right, Seth?
Yeah, and for me, my personal situation, my wife's job gets us our high-speed internet. So the television was never something that we would get. We bought DirecTV. We paid $230 a month, and all my apps combined is about half that.
All right, Seth, we've got a minute. Sports with Friends Hall of Justice text stream. Appreciate, by the way, and I'm being very sincere when I say, I appreciate this week's discussion, and you're going to have to help me. We're going to have to be buddies again. But Sports with Friends Hall of Justice and text stream, go.
Sports with Friends, Jeff Fry, the former second baseman, played for the Rockies, the Red Sox. If you miss me talking about baseball, we talk about baseball for an hour. He has a grassroots project called Save the Game, and we talked about it with Jeff Fry. Hall of Justice, we talk about The Office. Kate Flannery played Meredith on The Office. If you remember The Office, the American version, we have a great sit-down with Kate Flannery for the Hall of Justice. And for text stream, we talk about VPNs. There are two kinds of VPNs, ones that help you be honest and ones that help you cheat. Why are they both called VPNs, and how do you know the difference?
Seth Everett, Sports with Friends Hall of Justice and text stream, and buddies with Miller and Moulton.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Long time
Thanks.
friends.
Thanks, Seth. Appreciate
See
it.
you guys.
Seth_Everett is how you can also follow him on Twitter. Are you guys going to be patient with me or no?
Absolutely.
Okay.
But I'm telling you, with what you have, you don't need to do as much as you think you need to do.
Well, and I got a new phone a few months ago, and I still haven't taken advantage of the free Apple Plus.
David, you
That's
still
me.
don't use David at Miller and Moulton.
It's free? Wait a second. It's free
it.
and you don't have it?
David Moulton for Napa,
Oh
Napa
my God.
Auto Parts, and Napa filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, The Training Grove. With a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, The Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with The Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial and use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today.
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, The Training Grove. With a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, The Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with The Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial and use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
And he said, hey, this has been on my mind. And I literally said, really? And he goes, yeah. I go, Seth, I got to be honest with you. I said, I had forgotten about it by the time we were doing the 9 o'clock hour.
I got to make it into Verizon next week. It's my goal. With all these things I supposedly get free for having a Verizon phone, I do need to find out.
Well, and Adam, that's something because my wife watches network television. Now, not a ton, but she watches network television.
I need it for live sports because we don't watch it, but all I need is I need to be able to tape the Big Ten Network and ESPN. Well, ESPN Plus, I'm guessing, I need to be able to watch college gymnastics, not me.
But I need to have that capability.
It needs to be like last night. My wife went to bed about 8:30. She said because she had a little medical procedure, so I'm going to bed. And by going to bed, she wouldn't watch college men's Big Ten championships. Now they ended a month ago. Like the gymnastics year is over, and she watches it. She knows who everybody is. Can tell me their backstories. And the other thing you can do from the local standpoint is you can buy a really good HD antenna. They're not that expensive, and you've got all the local channels forever.
Can I talk about something?
Yeah, preferably on air because we got 3 more segments to do.
I don't know. I think I'm going to bring up an interesting topic, but maybe not.
Whoa! Man takes Florida pizza shop employee hostage in 7-hour standoff?
Where?
I don't know the answer to that just yet.
I'm going to guess North Florida.
Altamont Springs, which is North Florida, right? I think that's... If you're going to do it at Hungry Howie's, really?
Klecko, I'm with you. It's funny. The guys are robots, and then when they're not robots, they get criticized for being human.
Adam, you can run a class, probably make a little money when you're going to be in Fort Myers next month.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
The Hump Day bonus hour, Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network. Thanks so much for being with us on this April 20th. In a way, the date is the focus of our poll question. At that Mark Miller, at the David Moulton, at FL Sports Network on Twitter, and at floridasportsnetwork.com, you can vote. What will be legalized in the state of Florida first? Recreational marijuana, widespread sports gambling. Right now, gambling about 60-40.
Yep. A little less than that right now, but the vote's been pretty hot and heavy throughout the day. You can do it, as David said, in all those places. FL Sports Network, that Mark Miller, the David Moulton.
Something has happened this morning which I'm shocked about. And you and I are of the age, and with everything that we've all gone through here in life, never mind the last couple of years, there's not much that shocks me anymore. But according to a report in the New York Times, Wimbledon is going to ban players from Russia and Belarus from participating in the tournament. Well, the number 2 ranked man in the world is Russian. The number 8th ranked guy in the world is also Russian. Former Australian Open champion and world number 1, Victoria Azarenka, is from Belarus. 4th ranked woman in the world is from Belarus. 15th ranked woman in the world's from Russia. What in the world? I'm shocked by this. What in the world do these tennis players have to do with the war that's going on? And why in the world are they being punished? And you may disagree. I'm shocked. Hopefully I would be a prominent player. But if I were the rest of the players, I would say to Wimbledon, either they're in or we're out.
I don't think this is the first sporting event that's done this, for the record.
No, you're right. I mean,
we've thrown them out of the damn World Cup as a country.
Yes. And the reason Belarus is they're a big ally of Russia, if you're not paying attention. In fact, they're kind of helping, and they're threatening to really help. But I mean, this is an individual sport.
Right.
Here.
We're taking away yachts, super yachts from Russian oligarchs who aren't essentially part of the government. They're friends with the government.
Well, okay. And I don't necessarily want to go down that road, but but also they're helping to funnel financially. I can understand that more than I can understand this. I mean, I could. I mean, to me, you need to show me a direct correlation where they're literally they're helping to finance this war in some way, shape, or form. I mean, come on. I mean, are you in agreement with Wimbledon saying, oh, wait, you're from Russia, you're from Belarus? Well, yeah, you can't participate in our tournament.
I'm surprised by it. Do I support it? No, but I'm not, there's no shock here from me at all.
I think it's outrageous. And please don't get me wrong. I think what Russia's doing is outrageous.
We all know that. This is not,
I think it's outrageous.
But I'm trying, in my head, the first thing that I'm trying to compare this to, David, is like the Munich games when Jesse Owens, as Hitler's starting to do what he was doing, and we sent our best over there to kick his ass.
Right.
That's the first thing when you start bringing this up, that's what I think of. The Olympic Games, and I know the Wimbledon is not the Olympics, but the Olympic Games throughout war times and we have let people participate. So what's going on now is very different than really what's going on sporting-wise throughout history, David.
I mean, Victoria Azarenka shouldn't be allowed to compete in Wimbledon because of what's going on. I mean, no offense, guys. If you care this much, do a little bit more. If we really want to escalate this conversation. But I'm stunned at this. If I were the other players, honestly, I would be sending out texts and emails right now and saying, yeah, this crap, no. And for the record, the French and the U.S. Open have not gone here. Now, maybe they're about to, but they have not indicated. And you would think if the French Open was going to do it, they'd make an announcement before Wimbledon because their event is a month before Wimbledon. But I'm shocked. Hold on. You're taking the actions of a madman, of maybe the worst person this world has seen in 70 years, and you're going to hold it against tennis players? What did they do? Their parents, had the fortune or misfortune of birthing you in those countries? I mean, come on. What? This is ridiculous to me.
I mean, are they trying to force them to denounce their citizenship from these countries in order to play tennis?
And some in our Twitch chat room, you have to put all the pressure on Russia as you can. You really think that keeping Daniil Medvedev out of Wimbledon is going to influence what's going on here? I was shocked, literally shocked by this story. Can't believe it. I think it's outrageous what Wimbledon's doing. I get it. You want to take sides, the whole deal. Come on. Aren't you? You're a tennis tournament. Now, you're the grandest tennis tournament of them all, but come on now. You're a tennis tournament. If anything, you're giving them a forum to maybe come out and into a microphone and go, yeah, I hate what's going on here. Because I actually think all of these players did when we were on the verge of war at the Australian. I mean, everybody knew the war was coming. This was not a surprise. I mean, he held off for the Olympics. I mean, the troops were there for 3 months around the border. I mean, it's not like this was a surprise.
Right.
But do you think Wimbledon is just in what they did?
No, I don't think they're just. I don't know if at all pressure was put on Wimbledon by the UK to do this. Obviously, that was not the case, with the French Open, but it wouldn't surprise me if pressure was put on Wimbledon by the government.
Well, and
they conceded to such pressure.
And I will say Boris Johnson did visit there recently. There was the famous picture of him and the leader of the Ukraine walking down, Main Street, if you will, together.
And I know we have people in the Twitch chat room and a few texters saying, well, they should speak out against it. Hey, they may have families there. This isn't just an area where you can go. This isn't America. No, quite frankly, these tennis players aren't in America where they can sit there and denounce the government for whatever the hell they want and not have to worry about their families being killed. There's a little more to it here. This guy does kill people who disagree with him. That's factual.
I mean, if you're Wimbledon, you can come out and strongly denounce what is going on. You can also announce that you're going to, pawn off some of the money that you make and actually send it to the people from the Ukraine or to the government to help them fight the Russians. But I think taking it out on the individual players is ridiculous. I think it's unjust. I do not think it's right. Don't think these players have earned this. I don't. I mean, for example, imagine if the NHL, Mark, if the NHL said to all the Russian and Belarus hockey players, you guys are done, effective immediately.
Now, what the NHL did was quit advertising and using, they ended their social media in these countries. They're not really publicizing Russian players the way they did. But no, they didn't ban them from the sport, David.
And could you imagine right now if they said to Alex Ovechkin, I don't know what to tell you, man, your season's over.
And there were those that called for it, that wanted it.
Well, and he has also been a big supporter of Putin.
Yep.
And he hasn't kind of, sort of, not really denounced the war.
No, he really hasn't. He hasn't.
But do you think he should lose his right to play hockey for the Washington Capitals?
No. But it'll be interesting to see when the H-2, whatever the visa is that all these players get that are non-citizens, how quickly they're going to issue those to Russian players next year.
Well, okay. I mean, I don't know if that's also, that's certainly mixing sports and politics and messing with people's lives, but I don't know. I think, and I'm just curious, your response, if you've never texted the show before, it's FSN Radio. It's all one word, FSN Radio to 21,000, or you could certainly comment in our Twitch chat room, the Miller and Moulton Twitch.tv channel. Very few things shock me anymore. Surprise me. Oh, wow, that's interesting. Things like that. Shocked. I mean, I read the story a second time. Like, come on, this I got to be missing something here.
And there are those in our Twitch chat room who think that they are just in this and that this is what should happen.
Some asking, hey, man, when are you ready to draw a line in the sand? Listen, I'd be more than ready to draw some lines in the sand, but this isn't a political show. All right, this is sports. This is a tennis tournament. Come on, what kind of a statement is this really making? It's laughable. It's the other thing I'd say to the All England Lawn and Tennis Club. Seriously? What do you think this is doing? Denounce it publicly, give money to the Ukrainians, okay? But for goodness sakes, let them play.
I will say, though, it's the H-2B visa or whatever it is that all foreign players come in on. That's how they work. That's how foreigners come in to work in our country. We'll be interested to see if we start impacting how we issue those visas to people from certain countries.
Well,
that wouldn't surprise me. That wouldn't just affect NHL players. It would affect anybody that works coming from those countries.
There's no doubt about it. And I'll be curious if that starts taking place even over in the continent there. I'm shocked that Wimbledon is taking this action. I really would lead a boycott. And I'm not a big fan of that. We had our day in the 60s and 70s in this country about much more important stuff, I think, to boycott. But I would lead a boycott. If I was the Williams sisters, quite frankly, I'd be like, this is ridiculous. And they're friends with Azarenka. I'll be very surprised to see if the players actually go, like Medvedev doesn't have a ton of friends. Azarenka does.
Miller and Moulton, searching for friends daily on the Florida Sports Network.
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, The Training Grove. With a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, The Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with The Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial and use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the Chicken Bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. Fort Myers High School got a grant from the NFL to put.
Yeah, $250,000, I think, to our AstroTurf. I think the field.
Yeah.
Yes, surprised. Although I will say this, Klecko, about the Rockies, the second half of the season last year, they played right around 500 baseball. Their pitching is better than people think. Lindor's hitting 330. He's been going fine. KM, who was talking about revoking citizenship?
Nobody.
Did I miss that somewhere?
No, nothing.
No. What do you got here?
I don't.
All right. I'm going to go back to the Saudi thing. You all right with that?
Sure.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
"21 minutes after the hour, Miller and Moulton. Thanks so much for being with us. Good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap today was the day when. Final thoughts, all coming up in a little more than 15 minutes' time. We mentioned it in our first hour of the show, but I think it bears repeating. 44-year-old Robert Garrigus, with one career win on the PGA Tour, and he's played, a good 15-plus years on tour for 13 seasons, played in 20 or more events. His last full year on tour was 4 seasons ago. He has a top 20 this year. He was T16 at Pebble. He's playing this week in the Zurich with 2 gloves there, Tommy Gainey. But reportedly, according to Golf Week, he is the first member of the PGA Tour to raise his hand and formally put in the paperwork to play in this LIV golf tour. There's a procedure you have to go by. If there's another golf tour that has an event the same week that the PGA Tour has an event, you have to put in the paperwork 45 days in advance that says, listen, I don't want to play the PGA Tour event. I want to play in this tour event instead. And within 2 weeks, the PGA Tour gives you thumbs up or thumbs down. And normally it's thumbs up. But there was a little controversy a couple months ago because there was an event in Saudi Arabia and there were a bunch of the top players, and it was up against, ironically, Pebble. And they wanted to play over there. DJ and company were, making the big bucks going over there. And the tour basically, through gritted teeth, said, okay, we'll let you play this one. And that's it. Well, with what's gone on since, at the PGA Tour saying, hey, you play in one of these events, you're done. You're off the tour. It's over. Well, Garrigus put in the paperwork, according to Golf Week, and he's going. Okay, 44. His best days are behind him. He's 6 years away from the Champions Tour. And, Mark, we're assuming that since the PGA Tour owns the Champions Tour, that if you make a move like this, that as far as they're concerned, you ain't playing that tour either.
Right. But the difference is for the 6 years, 7 years, 8 years before you get to the Champions Tour, it's life-changing money.
Yeah.
It's not Champions Tour money. It's money. I don't know how, if invited, if you're in your 40s, it would be really difficult to say no to. For this whole group of guys like that, David. Guys who have made a good chunk of money in their career.
Adam Scott's the 37th ranked player in the world. If you're Adam Scott, do you do it? On your best days are behind you. It's not, you could still win. It's asking a lot to win a major, but you show up on the first page of the leaderboard from time to time now.
He's made $60 million in career money.
Right. Well, I mean, they think, Phil on and off the course has made, about 300.
No, but I'm just talking Adam Scott, right. Career money.
Right.
He's made 298 cuts. He's made $58,312,649.
I mean, Sergio's the 47th ranked player in the world.
That's a great name right there because Sergio can still contend in tournaments, but Sergio's also a name and a draw. I mean, Sergio's a guy that, quite frankly, when we have the shootout here, even though the fields are great, there have been years in which I look at the field and go, it's really nice, but nothing that I want to go spend time going over to see.
Right.
Sergio's at the shootout. I'm going to see Sergio play. He's a draw to me, David. I don't know about you.
Bubba Watson was mentioned.
Another guy.
As
Not
if
to me, he's not a draw, but I think he would be to some people.
67th ranked player in the world. Here's another guy who has not been mentioned, and his family has a lot of history and heritage with the game of golf. But boy, if you're Keegan Bradley, and I understand you've been competitive here recently, you're the 66th ranked player in the world. Ian Poulter, who's been mentioned, 71st ranked player in the world.
I'll give you a name, David. Ricky Fowler. Ricky Fowler's, I don't even know what he's ranked right now.
Well, he's not in the top 100. Stuart Sink is the 76th ranked player in the world.
Yeah, Ricky Fowler's ranked 145 in the world right now, but still a draw, David.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Now, let's assume the worst. Let's assume the PGA Tour is going to win, okay, in which you're dead to them. It's over. And you'll never play the PGA Tour again, and you'll never play the Champions Tour. And maybe some majors, if by chance you could qualify, because the one thing that, according to the World Golf Rankings, this Saudi tour, you will get World Golf Rankings points. I think it's considered part of the Asian Tour. So there is still a chance for you to leave the PGA Tour, play the Asian Tour and the Saudi Tour, and qualify for the Masters. And or the, Open Championship. I mean,
or the U.S. Open, for that matter.
I mean, will they ban you from even being able to try to qualify?
I don't see how they could.
Because isn't it based on your handicap?
Well, the U.S. Open, you got to be 0.5, whatever it is now, and you got to go through qualify. Now, what they may end up having to do is go through a sectional that they didn't have to, go through one more stage that they didn't have to before.
Was Kevin Na the other golfer
Yes.
that was mentioned? Kevin Na's the 32nd ranked player in the world. In between Corey Connors and Patrick Reed. Patrick Reed's another one, by the way. I could see Reed doing it.
I could as well.
Who's had a rough couple years here. I mean, that's why he wasn't selected to the Ryder Cup team last year. I mean, there are some that are wondering if Phil, when he emerges from his self-imposed exile here, if Phil's just going to go and just make all his money back that he's lost in endorsements. And, we think the Masters, like for someone like Phil, who as a 3-time former champion can play in the Masters, he won the British, he can play in it till he's 65. And we think those two tournaments will honor that. It could be wrong.
I would think they damn near have to. How do you sacrifice your own history for some tour that you don't really, because you don't care? The Masters is above the PGA Tour in their own eyes. The Open Championship's above the PGA Tour in their eyes. So why the hell would they acquiesce to PGA Tour rules that don't apply to them?
Now, it would be interesting to me. Let's just say, for example, Phil actually leaves the PGA Tour. He's a 2-time PGA champion. Would they allow him to keep playing in the PGA? Their rules obviously say he's eligible to, but they're much more in bed with the PGA Tour than the other majors.
Right.
Justin Rose is the 60th ranked player in the world. These are bigger names than Robert Garrigus, but many of them are at similar, they're more competitive than Robert Garrigus, but they're at similar ages and they're clearly on the downside. And this is a staggering cash grab for the next 6 to 8 years before they turn 50. Except for Phil, obviously he's already 50, but the others all fit that category.
This is your NASCAR league that you wanted when they kicked all the 40-year-olds out of the sport.
Yes.
These are guys that we know and we know really well.
Yes.
Popular, good players.
Yes.
And a lot of them really popular in Europe, which I think will matter to this tour, David.
So Robert Garrigus, who's in the Zurich this week, and one figures is going to get a microphone put in front of him and asked about this. Miller and Moulton. Thanks so much for listening, Florida Sports Network.
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, The Training Grove. With a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, The Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with The Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial and use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Judge Schmales, you are so on the money. I was watching Cooch backdoor that top five last week going, this is vintage Cooch. See, no one asked you to come in. Who asked you to come in? Do you see one person?
Put the headband back on.
Beat it.
All right. You know, Fleetwood's fascinating. You would think he's too young, and he hasn't won a major yet. You know, that's the other thing. Rose won his major. Sergio won his major. Scott won his major. Bubba won his two. Cooch is going to say, I won the bronze.
So I text, you know who. Off the record, you going to the LIV tour. Never got a call or email or anything. It would be hard to say no if invited. That's life-changing money. About a 5-minute break, I can see him text again, although it is terrorist money.
Can he reach out? I mean, can't he reach out?
I did, and I was very specific. Off the record, exclamation, exclamation. Want you to know right off the bat, this is just for...
Yeah, DC, I would think so. Although, you know, you wonder if you're that tour, just, you know, what's your criteria going to be as to who gets to play? Tiger's definitely not going. No interest at all. I think the golf community would destroy Phil. absolutely destroy them. The other thing is that I believe in the States, whoever goes would become a pariah. Hey, do you guys like, Good, Bad, and Ugly? What's on tap today was the day when? Seriously. Kind of wondering. Yes to what?
Yeah, more importantly, today was the day when. Should it be tightened? That's my only question.
Should it go away? Should it be much shorter? First time chat. Wow.
Yeah, I see that.
This is interesting. So far, everybody likes it.
All right.
Okay. Not really. Okay. That's not what's on tap. Okay. Not Good, Bad, and Ugly. It should be shorter. Fair enough. Okay.
Thank you.
Well, it's much easier to make it shorter.
Damn right.
Darn right. Well, Johnny, we know it's our show, but the object of the show is to
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
home stretch of Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. Thanks for being with us. Poll question on this April 20th, 420. So in the state of Florida, what do you think gets legalized first? Recreational marijuana use? Widespread sports gambling? I got to admit, weed's doing better than I thought it would.
It is 420 after all, David.
We're not asking people their preference, though.
No.
Because if so, I think weed would win.
Ooh.
Close, I know, sports show, but we're asking what it is you think will be legalized first. So everybody has to, form a little bit of a political opinion as well. They've lived in this state a while. They're trying to figure out,
And you have to remember, John Morgan there was the guy behind the weed bill. He's got the money to try to make it legal rec, too. I mean, that was all him in a big way financially. And right now, the fight, gambling-wise, is so much money on each side. There's not really a leader outright right now, if you know what I mean.
I hear you. All right.
Leave it to the oldest guy in the show, and definitely the oldest soul, to live in the past. Here's David Moulton with Today Was the Day When...
1611, baby. That's where we're going back to.
Wayback Machine.
The first known performance of Shakespeare's Macbeth took place in London. 1887 marked the first motor race. Was a steam-powered quadricycle. George Boughton won it. Happened in France. A steam-powered quadricycle. 1912, big day. Fenway Park and Tiger Stadium both officially open on this day. Red Sox beat the New York Highlanders in 11, 7-6. Tigers beat the then Indians 6-5. 4 years later, Cubs play their first ever game at Weigman Park, now called Wrigley Field. They beat the Reds 7-6. Ted Williams got his first hit on this day in 1939. In 1944, Mark, the NFL legalizes coaching from the bench. I didn't realize it was illegal. Wow. 1974, McCartney and Wings released the single Band on the Run. In 81, Mark, a sad day for us, was the final episode of Soap.
God, what a show. What a great show.
40 years ago, the Braves started the season by winning their first 12 games of the year. They were the first team to ever do that.
That's America's team year, right?
That's right. They were on TBS, baby.
That was a big deal.
That was the Bob Horner
on third,
Dale
baby.
Murphy, Phil Niekro, the ace, Rick Mailer. Oh, yeah. Chris Chambliss, I think, was their first baseman.
He was. Very good. Good
He
goal.
left the Yankees, was playing first. Now all those players are going through my head. 39 years ago, President Reagan signed a $165 billion bailout of Social Security. Today was the day, Mark, in 86, and Felipe, you'd be interested in this. MJ set the playoff record of 63 against the Celtics in a loss. They lost in overtime. Game 2 of the best of 5. He scored 49 in the Game 1 loss, 63 in the Game 2 loss. They asked Larry Bird afterwards. He's improving at 14 points a game, and Bird says if he scores 77 next game, I'll retire.
He also said, pretty sure he called him like Jesus after that game.
I don't know, because in 87, he called Magic Johnson the best player he'd ever seen.
But I think he said, I think Jesus was out there tonight and Michael Jordan.
What's interesting, though, is in this day and age, Jordan missed a foul line jumper at the regulation buzzer to win it.
He never missed last-second shots.
He did then. Meanwhile, we mentioned on this day in 82, the Braves start the year winning 12 in a row. Yeah, on this day in 88, the Orioles set the record for worst ever start. They lost their 14th consecutive game to start the season on their way to losing 21 in a row in 88. And the next year, they nearly won the division. Pete Rose pled guilty to income tax evasion on this day in 1990. He hid over $300,000 in those, baseball card signings because he used to get cash in a brown paper bag. Yeah, that's what
Best kind of cash to get.
Right. The Bulls on this day in 96 won their record 72nd game. Also, Pat Kerwin picked Keyshawn Johnson number 1 overall in the draft on this day in 96. Columbine was today, 23 years ago. 13 dead, 24 injured. Deepwater Horizon was 12 years ago today in the Gulf of Mexico. Killed 11 workers. Former police officer Derek Chauvin convicted of murdering George Floyd a year ago today. It was also the same day. Remember that European Super League?
Right.
Chelsea,
right.
Man U, Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Tottenham.
The LIV tour before the LIV tour.
There you go. Breaking away from the EPL. Yeah, that lasted 3 days. Young Tom Morris, Adolf Hitler, Luther Vandross, and remember Mother Angelica? EWTN network. You always saw that nun.
Okay,
yeah. They were all born on this day, April 20th. Mother Angelica would have been 99 today. The HBC is 77. Steve Spurrier, born on this day in 1945.
maybe I'll send him a text.
Jessica Lange is 73, one of the few women in the world who have won an Oscar, an Emmy, and a Tony. Fetisov Want to take a crack at his first name? Vyacheslav? Is that right?
Sounds pretty
I mean,
close.
they called him Slava,
Right.
but he's 64 today. Don Mattingly is 61. Allen Houston is 51. Carmen Electra is 50.
Yes.
George Takei is 85. Ryan O'Neal is 81. And Luke Kuechly is 31. And that is Today Was a Day.
Just one major omission. And I wouldn't expect you to have this, but it was today in 1971 that 5 friends at San Rafael High School in California coined the term 420 as a euphemism for smoking pot. Couple of side notes. The Boston song Smokin' clocks in at 4 minutes and 20 seconds. And if you multiply the numbers in Bob Dylan's Rainy Day Women, number 12 and 35, you get what? 420.
You've heard folks elsewhere mock Florida is gonna Florida. Well, Mark Miller sees it differently. He calls it the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
I got Greg Hensley of Marion, North Carolina for the good. He won $200,000 April 11th in another lotto. It's his third winning of lottery big tickets since 2020. He cashed 10 grand in 2020. Then he cashed 20 grand later the same year and now hit for $200,000. Want to hang around that guy.
Yeah, really.
For the bad, we go to North Catuan, British Columbia, where there are problems. You see, David, they have the world's largest hockey stick outside their community center. It's 61,000 pounds. And you know what can really do damage to a 61,000-pound hockey stick? Woodpeckers.
Hey, listen, I got one at the front of my house. I got my front 3 windows covered. Okay, that thing is going to town. 20 years, we'd never had a problem.
There was a hole. They plugged it with steel wool. That didn't work.
Here we go.
And now, well, they're going to look for other methods, urging the birds to consider a new location.
Listen, man, when they get started, those beaks. I mean, we all put wood, we put steel. It doesn't seem as if anything bothers them.
For the ugly, we go to Indiana, where Brandon Puckett was at a baseball game between the Fort Wayne Tin Caps and the Dayton Dragons.
The Tin Caps, huh?
Yeah.
I like
And
that.
he lost his wallet, David.
Let me guess. Got it back.
8 months later, it was found wedged in the stadium seats where he was sitting.
There you go. Got it back, though. Didn't lose a thing, did he?
Didn't lose a thing, other a little time and effort made. WANE TV tracked him down on Twitter and made arrangements to return the long-lost wallet. And that, David, is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today. 420, baby! 2022.
Happy birthday to our former producer, John Cassio. He is 39. Feel as if we've raised him. Started working on him when he was 20. Mark, this is funny. Paul in our Twitch chat room. You know, I would have thought the bad was going to be the U.S. men finishing 59th.
Boy, ain't that the truth. Look it up if you don't know what we're talking about. There are rankings, and then there are rankings.
Second segment, 8 o'clock hour. Download it. FloridaSportsNetwork.com.
We'll see if it's part of a best of in the near future. 3 NBA games tonight. I'd bet 2 of them for the record. I'd take Brooklyn and lay the 3.5, or get the 3.5 rather.
Okay.
I'd take Toronto at home and take the 2.5. And I had no idea what I'd do with the Bucs and the Bulls. The Bucs are a 10-point favorite.
I'm with you on Toronto. If they're going to do anything in the series, obviously we have to see it tonight, and they're getting 2 at home. I would lay the 10 with Milwaukee, to be honest with you, because I just think they're so much better than the Bulls.
You may be right. I just don't have
Right.
enough of a gauge to give you anything on Chicago tonight.
NHL tonight, not much going on. 4 games.
Vegas in a pretty much must-win situation against a red-hot Washington team, though.
And Washington's trying not to be a wild card. And they've got the game in hand on Pittsburgh to pass them, I believe, in the standings with a win.
Colorado at the Kraken. That's only relevant for the Florida Panthers, who are right now tied with Colorado for the best overall record in the National Hockey League.
Although the Dallas at Edmonton game does have some meaning. Dallas trying to nail down the final playoff spot in the West.
Obviously, tons of baseball going on today. Jays and Red Sox, pretty good series. Rays and the Cubs at 7:40 tonight.
By the way, they're playing a nooner out west, the Braves and the Dodgers are, because it's a 3 o'clock local start. They don't play a lot of high noon games.
Well, it is 4:20, so why not play at high noon?
Buck Showalter will not be managing the Mets tonight. He's having a medical procedure, of which they did not say what it is, but they say he will be back for tomorrow's game.
Marlins hosting the Cards tonight at 6:40 across the alley.
Cabrera, 4 hits shy of 3,000 for the Tigers, and they are hosting the Yankees. Luis Severino, the Yankee starter, against Miguel Cabrera. I will say, I think a lot more needs to be made. This is where, if you want to bang on ESPN and Fox for maybe not covering enough of the legitimate sports stuff that is going on, but the 3,000 hit 500 homer club is pretty rare. I mean, this is something that should be talked about, especially since a couple of the guys who are in it, you could say, are in it because of steroids. I mean, A-Rod and Palmeiro are both in it. And, you know, you go, yeah, come on, take them out. Well, then otherwise you're talking Aaron, Mays, Pujols, Eddie Murray. 4 other guys. I mean, come on now.
No.
The history of the damn game. By the way, Hank Aaron, if you took away his home runs, he still had more hits than Wade Boggs. That's right. Take away all 755 of them. He'd still have 3,016 hits.
You couldn't take away his doubles, though. That's the one thing you couldn't do.
But that's how great Hank Aaron was.
It's scary when you start breaking his numbers down. But whether it's 5 or 7, it's still pretty damn short company, David.
Ridiculous. They've been playing this sport a long time. And if you take out the 2 steroid pigs, it's Aaron, Mays, Pujols, and Eddie Murray, which also, by the way, is how underrated Eddie Murray was.
That goes to my love of the baseball media, because he didn't like them, and
No.
they did not like him.
No.
And treated him like a
Right.
jerk because of it.
Right. Meanwhile, he's a perennial all-star with 3,200 hits and 500 home runs. But boy, he's a blankety blank. So 4 hits away, Cabrera, from being in that club. Miller and Moulton.
Start watching a lot of MLB Network now, David, because
Well,
they'll be giving you every at-bat pretty soon.
I'm just hoping he doesn't do it all in one game. Like, you know, Rose tied Cobb by getting 4 hits against the Cubs. It was like, wait a minute, what? A week from tomorrow, the NFL draft. Our previews will continue. I think we'll talk Giants tomorrow.
Open for bidding. Right now, to have the show live at your own home is $150, 2 tanks of gas, and all the food we can eat. That's where we're at right now. That was the final offer. Food, gas, and $150. I'm going to work on them a little later today.
It's pretty good, and we still have a week to go.
I know. We could get this sucker up to, $212.
Well, the gas part, at least it'll cover our costs for the night, no matter where it may be.
No doubt there. Thank you so much for listening. We'll do this all again tomorrow morning. And David said it. Now we're done. We're talking Giants tomorrow is what you're telling me?
Well, yeah, because they've got picks 5 and 7. And will they keep them both? Will they trade out? Who will they take? They're an intriguing team. Miller and Moulton, thanks so much for listening. Have a great rest of your 420. And thanks for listening to the Florida Sports Network.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs